of 2022, the 16th edition of this fantastic race. This race is the mother of all swimrun. And as a mother, all mothers have characters. And this race, what type of mother is this? Michael Emmel?
Well, Villa, thank you. I appreciate the introduction. It's wild to think that it's our 16th edition. I was speaking with Mats and introducing the race to the volunteers earlier today. And I said, 16 years ago we were in a small conference room on the island of Sandhamn and had our race briefing with our staff and volunteers. And there was nine teams, 18 racers. And now, 16 years later, we're here at Ureneset, and we have close to 480 people who will be involved during today and tomorrow in this ÖTILLÖ bubble. So I would say it's the mother of all swim runs, and it's a fantastic race.
Super. And back in those days, the race went the other way, right?
Yeah, well, we started. Our idea from the beginning was that we were inspired by the Comrades Marathon in South Africa, where we would flip-flop. So go in one direction one year and then go the other year and go back and forth. So the first year we actually started in Sandhamn and made our way down to Utö. And the purpose for that was that the party was much better at Utö than Sandhamn. So we wanted to finish at Utö. And then the second year we started on Utö and we went to Sandhamn. But that year we realized that the longest swim would be also the last swim. And having racers in the pre-dark or close to dark on the longest swim, we realized that that was much too dangerous. So that's when we decided that we would do the race only from Sandhamn to Utö. So we did the opposite direction only once. Yeah.
Well, you learning by doing, as you say. And well, this is of course the World Championship in this sport, the sport of swimrun, and this is the original race. From this behemoth of a race, it's 65 kilometers of running and 10 kilometers of swimming. It has evolved. And for the ones watching who's not familiar with the sport, tell us, what is this? What is it that we're doing here?
Well, it is true. I mean, we have evolved immensely. If you look at images, and I think myself back to when Mats and I started this, we had no clue of what we were doing. We came from adventure racing, and our idea and the reason why we loved ÖTILLÖ and the concept of ÖTILLÖ was that from adventure racing we were so used to moving seamlessly through nature, and that was the purpose of this race, just to move from water to land to water to land to water, so just seamlessly. And for the first years, we didn't understand how people raced so slowly, because everyone stopped and took off their shoes and put it in a backpack and then swam and then stopped again, took out their shoes, dried their feet, and they sat down for hours during the race and therefore never finished. And also for the first 2 years, I would say, we said that everyone had to wear a life jacket underneath their wetsuit, because we didn't know, from a safety aspect. And then Jonas Kolting, who was one of our, he still is one of our racers. He's the only person who's done all 15 events until today, and will be starting tomorrow in the 16th event. He said, and he was, pro triathlete. He said, what's this whole deal with the life jacket? If you keep the life jacket, I won't come back, because it's a joke. You have a wetsuit, you float in a wetsuit, and that should be enough. And let's do this properly swimming. And we said, yeah, let's do that. So we took away the life jacket, and also going back to the first year, we had the world champions at the time in adventure racing, Team Nokia, the Finnish team, Petri and Ville. They came out of the hotel just before the start on Sandhamn, carrying 2 inflatable mattresses in the shape of Nokia phones. And Mats and I just looked at each other and said, oh my God, what is this? And we didn't have any rules. So they had just, in their mind, they were like, okay, we'll lie on top of the air mattresses and paddle down, and they did. And that was the first rule that we imposed, was that we had to limit the size of the flotation device. That we have done a couple of times into what we have now. I also have a friend who's a neighbor, Patrik Attemark, who I saw the other day training for a local swim run race next to my house. And he came he was out training in a wetsuit that he used, I think, in 2013, which was a triathlon suit, which he had modified it and put in a zipper in the front. And he had zippers on his thighs that went from the bottom of the thigh to the top of the thigh, so he could run easier. And I was like, it's like a museum piece. And now, as we know, the wetsuits have evolved into these fast, amazing, much lighter, much tighter, almost skins, second skins, where you just cruise in them. They're easy to run in, and they're very comfortable to swim in. So the evolution on the gear side is just, constantly moving. And then when you look at the way that the race has evolved, the first year the winners did it in a little bit over 12 hours on those air mattresses. And last year we had the fastest time ever on the course, which was just over 7 hours and 30 minutes, or 37 minutes. So
it should also be noted that in the first year you had the bikes on
no, that was the third year. We can, well, if you want to talk about the bikes.
No,
well,
we can skip the bikes.
We can skip the bikes.
See the evolution both in.
But I mean, in the times, they've knocked 4.5, almost 5 hours off the winning time in 16 years, and I believe that this year, with the conditions as they are, and I think the speed of the top teams and the way they will push each other. This year, I believe that we probably will have a winning time close to 7:20, which, a bunch of years ago, I said it will never happen. Somebody will go under 8 hours. And last year, Agil Young said, soon we'll have times under 7 hours. And I said, never. But, when you look at, people are training this specifically. They're getting better, stronger, understanding the race course, because it really, when you have a race course that is so dynamic and so versatile, there's so much stuff going on all the time in the race course, where some trails are, super easy to run in, some are super hard, some parts are no trail. Well, now we have trail more or less all the way. And it's up and down and open roads. So it's so complex. And before you really understand what you need to do, and when you understand, you go faster and faster. So I don't know what will happen, but it's just really cool to be part of this whole thing, and just be part of the start of a sport. And I think that within 20 years, maybe, hopefully, you will be part of the Olympics. Who knows?
Hopefully. And speaking of the race course, some things have changed over the years, as you say. I mean, nowadays there's more or less a trail where there was unmarked forest earlier, but some things have stayed the same, and that are a couple of the energy stations along the way. So you have a lot of good energy stations along the way that I know that a lot of the international teams coming to ÖTILLÖ call it the Fika World Championship, because they're so impressed by the Swedish Fika.
Yeah, I mean, the race course is the same. It's the same islands. We've been doing it the same way, more or less, from the very beginning, and with very slight changes, because it's I would say it's the fastest way down through the archipelago. We are considering doing a few course changes in the future, minor adjustments. And the energy stations, they're placed and have been placed throughout all the years in the same positions, and that's because you need energy, nutrition, and fuel and hydration at the same times or in the same places throughout the race. So they're periodically in the right places, and therefore have stayed the same. And since the course is so long, we feel that we want to really varied menu at the different energy stations, and that means that it becomes a fika party throughout the whole Stockholm archipelago. I mean, on Thursday, when we had marked the whole course, you could say that you have a guard or a handrail basically from Sandhamn to Uta that you can follow because it's so obvious the way that you go down the course now. And there's a handrail that will take you all the way down, and along the way there's some good fika stops, and some you have cinnamon buns, some you have Morten Energy, some you have bananas, some you have hot dogs, I mean, there's huge variety of different things going on all the time.
So, I was actually talking about the hot dogs the other day with a friend of mine. Going here to Djurenöset, I was like, oh, I remember in 2018 I had 2 hot dogs at Solvik before jogging on down Nämndö to keep on going. And I mean, food tastes exceptionally great if you're a bit tired and a bit cold. I know you place a lot of energy into the energy stations, and I know that a lot of people are really happy about that because, well, if you're used to running marathons and having water and bananas, this will be a treat.
Yeah, I think it's different for sure. We have mega variety going on, and that I think is exceptional. I think Petter, the musician, he's probably one of the only people who've actually had wine on the course, because one of the restaurant owners who had an energy station before knew that Petter was racing, and he's also a sommelier, and he wanted to offer him a good bottle of wine, so he put a bottle of wine at the energy station with his name on it. And Petter, being as friendly and open as he is, he had a glass of wine and then kept on going. So
that's amazing.
It's sort of like the Medoc Marathon, but just with wine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're interviewing him later, and I thought that I need to ask him about the wine thing, because I've heard of it, but I never got it confirmed. So leading up to this, to tomorrow for the race, the World Championship in swimrun tomorrow, tell us a little bit about, you have had a couple of races where you could qualify. You had Malta, Cannes, Uta, Engadin, Isosili, and Gothenburg.
Correct.
Any special memories? How your idea, your feelings of this last season leading up to this?
Well, I mean, there's different ways of qualifying to the World Championship, and one is through ranking points, and that is through our merit races, and we have merit races in the US, in Finland, in Norway, in France, and I think, and you also collect the ranking points at our World Series events. And what I think is a little bit interesting is that the people who have been selected for ranking points to this event, they have collected their points through the 2 COVID seasons, so in 2020 and 2021. So a big thank you to them for actually going out and racing during those years. Yeah. And then you can qualify directly at our World Series events, and like you mentioned, the ones that qualified to this event is Cannes, Malta, Uta, Isosili, Engadin, and Gothenburg. Then you can also qualify through Director's Choice, and that is that you send an application to Mats and myself, and we select teams on special merits. Now this year was a little bit special because as we didn't do Catalina, we had a bunch of direct qualification spots left, and those we opened up to more or less anyone in the last 10 days. So it became a little bit of a lottery with the last spots, but we have 160 teams on the start line tomorrow, unless we have somebody who pulls out in the last minute, as life is life. And they are representing 20 nations, so
yeah, but I mean,
it's cool.
It's also a special treat. Those last spots that didn't fill up during the Catalina event, I mean, it must be a special feeling to get here, because this is a dream race for a lot of people. So to be able
Yeah,
to.
you know, it's, you know how it is. All of a sudden, a closed door opens up, and you have a window of opportunity, and you just have to go for it.
Yeah.
And we have some teams that have just, you know, doing it,
Yeah.
and it's cool. It's very cool, and big, big kudos to them for having the guts to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I
Because
mean,
it's, I mean,
it's hard to
I,
grasp this
yeah,
this competition.
I think there will be a lot of people at the end of the race briefing shaking a little bit in their boots. Yeah.
Probably. I remember the first year I was racing this race. I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
But after the race, I remember that we got to the finish line, got a hug from you, and met Mats, and then I just spontaneously said, "My whole body aches. Everything aches in my body, but my soul is so on fire right now. So
Yeah.
this is the best feeling ever. We have to do this next year again."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when Mats and I raced adventure racing. It's sort of the same feeling. You crush your body, and then you clean your mind. You know, it's
Exactly.
like changing the hard drive in your brain. You put in a completely fresh and new one. You've thought all the thoughts. You've talked all about whatever there is to talk about. Your brain's just clean, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. So you've been out marking the race course for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Tell me about the project of just marking this race course, because that is not a one-day deal, right?
No, Mats and I and Johanna, we go on Wednesday morning together with Anders Malm. We leave Ute Harbor at 9 a.m. and it's sort of a ritual that we do. We go up to Vindalsö, which is the first island that you swim to after the start. And Mats starts marking Vindalsö. I do Skarpbrunn-Marö. Mats does, you know, the little island between Skarpbrunn-Marö and Rund-Marö. Johanna does Rund-Marö, and then we sort of leapfrog our way down through the archipelago, and we finish at the south end of Kumenda, just before Una, where the long swim is, at 6 p.m. on Wednesday evening. And you know, it's a solid day of 43 kilometers of course marking, and where you're, you know, tying ribbons, putting signs, putting in flags. Throughout the day, we've sort of figured out that we move at around 3 kilometers an hour just doing this. On the big islands, you move a little bit faster because the roads are broader. And then on the second day, Johanna does Ute for the final 15 course, and I do Una, and Mats does all the islands between Una and Ute, and then we finish the day with Mats and I doing the two last islands on the final 15 course. So by the end of Thursday afternoon at around 6, we're done with both the ÖTILLÖ Swimrun World Championship race course and the final 15 course. And it's a project. And then after final 15, we remove the parts of final 15 that won't be used during the World Championship, and then we move things around so we have the World Championship course in place on the islands between Una and Ute, and so we don't have the final 15 course there anymore. So it's a bit of a logistics project, and it's fantastic because you really realize how, every year you realize how absolutely amazing this race course is.
Yes, and this race course, as we've said many times today, it's a dynamic race course. Anything can and will happen in the outer archipelago of Stockholm during the winter and the summer.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of a new race course to go out on. How is there any treats, any obstacle course racing? How's the race course this year?
I mean, what we do is we don't remove anything, we don't fix anything, we just sort of let nature be nature. And you know, some islands are uninhabited, which means that there are no people that are living there, and so nobody cleans the trails or whatever. So yes, there's for sure, I call it a natural obstacle course where there's trees to crawl under and roots to crawl over, and you know, windfalls that you have to manage, and big boulders you have to sneak around. It's just, it's cool. It's really cool, and it's not like a traditional race where everything is just fixed. Here it's nature, and you adapt. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's our philosophy. I mean, a lot of people speak about conquering nature. I think when you've been a lot in nature, you realize that we as humans will never conquer nature. If we think so, we're naive. And the only thing that we can do is try to adapt to the conditions that are on hand and make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Go with
Yeah.
the flow.
Yeah, yeah. Or try to find the flow.
Yeah. So leading up to this, all these teams, I mean, everybody is nervous the day before the race. Even the veterans of the game, they've done it, what, 7 times, or Jonas, 15 times. What do you say to the racers coming here to calm their nerves?
Well, I think the key thing is that you're coming to do something that you wanted to do for a long time. Unless you just signed in yesterday. But most of you, anyway, have come here to do this because you really, really want to do it. And make sure you take the time and enjoy it, because it might not happen again. It certainly won't happen again under the same conditions. So it's a unique time, a unique moment in life, which you and your partner have the chance to really make something special of. So start the race with a smile, race with a smile, take care of each other, and finish with a smile. In the end, I mean, if you're 7th, 5th, 1st, 3rd, it really is not life-defining. What is life-defining is how you have performed throughout the race. So I think that should be your goal, to race with a smile.
Nice words. And lastly, any favorite places along the course? I know it's a spectacular course and there's a lot of them, but say your top 3. What should the racers stop and, or maybe not stop, but slow down and take in along the course?
Well, I think it's really cool when you come to the second island where the liquid station is, Von Solman, where the liquid station is just out on the rocks. And you look around yourself, you have racers around you, you have racers behind you, you have racers in front of you. The sun's coming up on your left, the light is exceptional, and you are going through a bit of fear and elation. You're probably cold because you've done a long swim, you haven't been able to warm up. It's one of those really special moments of the race where you go, wow, or you should go, wow. And then I think when you exit the pig swim and you scramble up the rocks, I would turn around and look at what you just crossed, the big body of water behind you, and just look at it and see, oh my God, that is massive what you just did. And scramble up the rocks and say, okay, now I'm almost halfway done with the race course. Almost halfway done. And to think that you really need to keep your brain with you for equally as long in front of you. And then when you come to the bottom of Långbaling, where you just come down and you have the small little islands before the north end of Uta, you can see Uta in the background, and you know that you will finish the race. And you just take the time and enjoy it from the bottom of Långbaling to northern Uta and then to the finish line, because that's an exceptional moment in the race when you know that you are through, or you should know that you're through.
Mikkel Emel, one of the race directors of ÖTILLÖ, the whole organization, but also this ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship. Tomorrow the start is at between 5:45 and 6:10, and the finishes will start from what, 1 o'clock until late in the evening.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we can't say that the start time is at exactly this time is because we're waiting for ferries to pass in the background, and those ferries, they have to pass through a channel that every single racer has to pass either before or after. So that's why we have a master start, and we get everybody to cross as soon as possible, and then that time is dependent on when the ships come in. So
Exactly.
I mean, that's why we don't say it's at an exact time.
So for everybody following, go up early,
yeah,
tune in, and be ready, because it can go off at any moment.
yeah. At 5:45 we'll start sending, and that will be on Facebook Live. We'll start sending, and you will be doing some Instagram
Exactly.
stories and reels and stuff. So you will be able to follow the race on either Instagram or Facebook. And I think more, if you think about it, on Facebook we'll have the leaders, men, mixed, and women leaders that we'll be able to follow, and or leading packs. And then on Instagram and Instagram stories, it will be more, throughout the race, different parts, and you'll be managing that. I know it's going to be a fantastic story that you're going to tell. So if you're keen, watch this. It's going to be a good one.
So
Thank you, Ville.
Thank you for your time. I know
Appreciate
you're a
it.
busy man today.
I have a few things going on, but I really appreciate this, and I love talking about this beautiful race because it really is special.
Yes. This is a special race. It's a special time of year for everybody interested in endurance sport and adventure. So we'll go to a quick pause, and I will be right back with more swim run for all of you to watch. Thank you.
Thank you.
So welcome back to this pre-show where we hype up before the race tomorrow. The Swimrun World Championship ÖTILLÖ. This race happens every first Monday of September, unless something extraordinary happens, which happened in the past. Well, and this race is, you can't just walk into this race, I guess. You have to qualify, and there's different ways of qualifying to this race. You can either get a direct spot from qualifying from one of the World Series races. There's also merit points, so if you're not on the podium but you place high enough in either the ÖTILLÖ races or the merit races, which are spread out across all swim running nations, I would say, you can collect points and get into this race, or you have the director's choice. So then you have to email Michael or Mats, who are the race directors, and tell them why you should get a spot. So those are the 3 different, well, normal ways of getting into this race. I guess that if you kind of proven yourself in all other sports, I say if you're a long course triathlon champion, you may get a spot, but that's probably director's choice. So tomorrow on Monday, there will be 160 teams. That's it, no more people. And each team consists of 2 people, and they will race from Sandhamn to Utö, 75 kilometers. What is the water race? Don't know what that means. So this is the World Championship, of course, so you qualify to become either the world champion, but everybody starting this race and hopefully crossing the finish line of this race will be a champion, because it's 65 kilometers of trail running, 10 kilometers of open water swimming, which can be very, very choppy. It can be calm. You never know, because it's the Stockholm archipelago. So you have to train for quite some time and be ready. And if you want to get here, you should start looking at the different races to qualify or get merit points. And by that, you can also watch which races will suit you. Either you're a strong swimmer or a strong runner, or you're strong in everything and then you can just go out, do your thing. But I would say if you're a strong swimmer, Cannes would be a race that suits you. It's a lot of swimming, almost 20% swimming, 80% running, and the swims are few. I would say it's 11 swims on the long course, on the World Series course, but they are quite far. So if you're a strong swimmer, if you have great swim endurance, Cannes would be a race for you. So I think that we should watch a movie from the Cannes race.
On arrive. Allez, il reste 8 km.
Fan vad bra vi är!
Nu kör vi! Åh! Kom igen nu.
Har du en kanon?
How was it?
It's a fantastic course.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
Did you have a nice
Hard.
time? Yeah?
Super hard, but so good, interesting, and
Good.
I really loved it actually.
So that was the race movie from last year's race in Cannes. And don't get fooled by that it should be Cannes and the red carpet and the film festival. It's not just crisp white beaches and flat running. You actually start with a ferry ride, just like here at the World Championship. You start with a ferry ride out to an island and you do loops around the islands, swim over and do a little loop of another island, then getting into the mainland. And that's where the race really starts. Thank you, Rasmus. In this swim run world, the infamous Rasmus, who does all these fantastic race movies. Extraordinary guy, and extraordinary coffee from Rasmus. So getting back to the Cannes race and getting back to the mainland, it's not going to be flat running. It's going to be super hilly. You have to be really equipped for long runs and have strong muscular endurance in doing that race. So if that's your cup of tea, or if warm water and nice weather is your cup of tea, then Cannes is for you. So there's difference in all of the race course characteristics. A totally different race course, I would say, is the ÖTILLÖ World Series race course, which is more of a technical swim running experience. There's a lot of in and out and transitions, and you have to be really technical and be able to move quickly through all the transitions. And I would like to watch the movie from this year's ÖTILLÖ. It was a special year because unseasonable cold, and well, let's watch the movie of ÖTILLÖ and talk a little bit about the World Series race in the Southern Archipelago.
It was a tough day, really tough day. In the beginning I got some trouble with the cold. I was struggling in the first meters of every swim section. Was nearly about to jerk, to be honest. And after that it's become easier and easier, but in the beginning it was really hard.
The forecast was for heavy rain today, and I think heavy rain would have been a very, very, very tough day. It was already, as it was, a very tough day with unseasonably cold weather or cold water temperatures and a lot of wind. So it's been tough, very tough out there for the teams.
Everyone knows it will be a tough race. When it's quiet, we know it's everyone is digging deep.
It feels like I'm going to be cold for the rest of my life.
I did the race in 2019. I know I survived then, so we'll survive today.
It's going to be cold for everyone.
That's part of the challenge.
I love this new course. The trails of ÖTILLÖ, they're so beautiful, and to add this super technical finish going up along Balling and back I love it, and I think it suits us well.
Jag vet inte om Helene frös så mycket överhuvudtaget, men jag frös i alla fall. Men där började liksom nedförsbacken för mig och sen var det bara ett krigande. Och sista milen, så det enda jag kunde säga var aj, 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 och det här går inte, det går inte, det går inte. Helene var verkligen den starka i vårt lag idag, men så det är gött att man är ett lag.
So that was the race movie from Ute this year, 2022, and it was, as I said, unseasonably cold. And don't get scared by looking at that. Next year's Ute race will be in June instead, so a month later. So that will be blooming summer in the Swedish archipelago. It's going to be a fantastic and much, much warmer race. Even if it's unseasonably cold, it will still be warm. So check Ute out, because the new race course that was presented this year is a fantastic race course. If you're into swim running, which I assume you are watching this, this is the essence of swim run. It's the island hopping, it's the up and down, being amphibious and constantly being hit with different obstacles in nature. It's a fantastic, fantastic race. I was out doing media on Ute this year, and I can say for the first time in doing media on swimrun races, I was happy to not be racing. Otherwise, all the other times I usually think, oh, I should be racing this race, but this year I was kind of happy just being on land taking pictures. Well, Ute is a fantastic race. It's fantastic to go out. You can bring your family. It's a big island with lots of activities for the whole family, so you can go out and just have an amazing weekend. Check it out. Also, you can ask questions in the comments for this live broadcast. So if you're wondering anything about the World Championship or swimrun in particular, just ask your comments directly in the YouTube comments, and I'll try to answer them. Moving along, this World Series tour of races to qualify in have different characters, both in their course descriptions. Ute is 16% swimming, and Cannes is 20% swimming. There's flat, there's hilly courses, and one spectacular place that's always get fully booked. So you should be on, if you want to do the race, you should be on the trigger button and clicking away to get a spot. It's the Isles of Scilly race outside of UK. So I would really like to show you Rasmus' fantastic movie from this year's racing in Isles of Scilly. It's truly a swimrun paradise.
ÖTILLÖ.
ÖTILLÖ.
ÖTILLÖ. ÖTILLÖ.
Attila. Attila.
Attila.
Attila.
Attila. Attila.
ÖTILLÖ.
ÖTILLÖ.
Attila? It'd be lovely, we call it Attila down here.
You're leading. You're miles ahead. I knew you've been training hard for this.
Oh, I have.
That's fantastic, well done. You have water, carrot cake, your energy drink is on the table.
Been one or two since I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, that gets old. It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you?
Awesome, awesome. No, thank you. Honestly, it's been brilliant.
We had a goggle breakage. That was quite exciting.
I think there were three things that really stood out for me. One was the sun shining. Secondly was the general positivity from the other people running. And thirdly was the volume of off-street parking, which around here is quite frankly unrivaled. So yeah, those are my highlights, I think.
So the Isles of Scilly race, a fantastic race, and as you could see, truly a swimrun paradise. Crystal clear waters, flat running, a fantastic race with fantastic nature. You can't believe that you're in the UK while racing those magical islands, almost tropical islands. As you may know or may not know, it was a race that was dominated by super strong swimmers. Desiree and Fanny, the former champions in the women's category, had a fantastic race. If I remember correctly, they were second team overall. So super strong swimmers excel at the Isles of Scilly race. But as I said, it's a fantastic group of islands. There's not a lot of spacing for everybody to accommodate. So if you want to get to that race, you should really start planning for it as soon as possible. So these are three different races, different characters, and of course, as an experience, as a swim run is an adventure in its own, every race is worth doing, worth racing. Regardless of if it's a World Series race, the long courses, the sprint courses, or the experience courses, you will have a fantastic experience regardless of distance, as long as you get out in nature, do it by your terms and enjoy your surroundings. Try to immerse yourself in the water and immerse yourself in nature. But trying to get here to the World Championships, you should strive for the long course, the World Series races. And well, I've done this race twice, the ÖTILLÖ, the World Championship, the World Champion, Swimrun World Championship. Sorry, I'm just so excited to be here. This is like Christmas Eve for a swimrun nerd like me. I've done this race twice, and it was two complete different races. The first one was in 2017, the year of the storms, and the other one, 2018, it was sunny weather, no wind, perfectly flat water, and the second year I was running around asking my partner then, super strong partner Elin, I asked her, did we really race here last year? Is this the same race course? Are you sure? I mean, so the weather, it can change dramatically and it changes your experience of the race. So as Michael said earlier in this broadcast, just because you've done it once, I mean, that moment only happened once and then you have to do it again and again. I guess you kind of get bitten by the swim run bug and want to do it again. If you're into the long course stuff, of course. Otherwise, there's a ton of other races that you can do. As I said, the sprints and the experience races. And a lot can happen. I hit my head on Munke one year, had a headache for the whole race and finished off very much slower than I had predicted. But I mean, this race doesn't, if you're not in it to win it, you don't have to go fast, you just have to go forward. So it doesn't matter if you have to stop and walk for a bit on Una. Don't kill yourself on this race. You have to experience the whole race. Another year, I know a racer coming to Uta, super drained of all energy, on the last island, on the little climb up towards the gravel road that leads to Gruvbyn and the finish line. And this racer just stopped in her footprints and said, I'm not racing a meter more. I'm finished. I'm done. I've done this whole day. I can't do any more swim runs. And then her partner said, well, we got three kilometers to go. So you want to quit now or you want to... And they sat there for a couple of minutes, ate a couple of gels and then finished off. So you have it in you to complete this fantastic race. You just have to take it piece by piece and go as fast as you can, but you don't have to push yourself to the limit because it's a long day, regardless of if you're doing it in 7 hours and 20 minutes or if you're doing it in 14 hours. So I really hope that everyone that wants to do this race will be able to come to this race in the future and to broaden the sport, to be able to race it. It will be fantastic. Let's just see if we get in any questions. As I may have mentioned, I may have not mentioned. You can ask questions directly in the comments on YouTube, and I will try to answer them. And then afterwards, when we have guests, we can try to have a little bit of interactions for all the people who can't be here. And well, sub 7 is going to happen. Right conditions and strong athletes. Maybe not yet, but pretty soon is a comment. Well, I think so as well. I mean, we have seen multiple records break in the last couple of years that we thought of as impossible. The sub 2-hour marathon that Eliud Kipchoge did, there was a trial to go under 7 hours in the Ironman distance. So why not? I mean, nowadays everybody's training for this specific race, been out on this race course training. So I think this year could be a course record. The wind is actually blowing in the right direction, so it's a little bit of tailwind from Sandown all the way down to Uta. Gonna be good conditions, pretty warm in the water, a fantastic temperature for the running on land, and well, hopefully we'll see a new course record. I think my predictions are new course records in mixed. It can happen in women's, in men's team, hopefully, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's a long race, it's a long day, anything can happen. And well, we all look forward to tuning in at 5:45 and start watching for the results. It's gonna be full on from the start, I guarantee it, and it's gonna be interesting. You think that, what, 7.5 hours of swimming and running, can it be interesting? I assure you, it will be super, super interesting, and we're all going to be very stoked. So we're going to have a 5-minute break here in the in this broadcast, and we'll be back soon and talk about the World Championship and the race course. Welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. Tomorrow morning, 160 teams, 320 racers from 18 nations will set out on the course and try to they will create new memories, and hopefully they reach their dream goals of the day. This segment of the show, I would like to talk you through what they're going to experience tomorrow. So a little walkthrough of the race course. So right now we're at Djurgården. It's still on the mainland in Stockholm, and tomorrow morning at 4:45 all the racers will be on boats going to Sandhamn, the original start of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship race, where they'll start at in between 5:45 and 6:10 in the morning. This is because it's a shipping channel outside of Sandön where they start, and the big cruise ships are coming in, so they have to either pass by this island or they have to stop and wait for all the swim runners to swim across. So as I said, starting on Sandön, where Sandhamn is, the Sandhamn Seglar Hotel, where the start is, it's a 1200 meter run and it's a master start, so it's a quad bike going in front of everybody, so it's not full force from the start. Super collective, everybody kind of runs together, although it's getting spread out after 400 meters because we're going out from the village into the forest trail, and you can only run maybe 5 or top 6 people shoulder to shoulder. So it's going to be a bit spread out, which is good, coming down to the beach. And at that beach, you're going for the first swim of the day and the longest swim of the day. The sun has barely risen above the sea level, so you have a stroboscope swimming towards, and everybody's super nervous. And this swim is your chance to calm your nerves, to get into the groove of racing. So you're running 1200 meters and then swimming 1700 meters towards the stroboscope. Don't get stressed out. It's a long swim, but it's usually a quite calm swim. Aim for the stroboscope, get into your groove, and you get up on an island called Vindalsö. On Vindalsö, it's really bare, so it's really slippery, and here a lot of people get stressed out because you can't really run on this island because it's so slippery, and everybody has to follow a tight trail to get over the island, so you can't really pass teams. And here you can get stressed out of, oh, will I make the first cutoff? Because now we're basically walking or hiking, we're not running this island. And don't get stressed out over this island, and don't get stressed out if you're following the race and think, oh, my friends are used to be running at a certain tempo and now they're doing much slower. This is part of the game, I would say, and also a good chance to collect your thoughts, collect yourself for the day ahead of you. After that, you have a small swim over to Skarprundmarö. I think it's 300 meters. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's 300 meters. Should have looked this up, but as I remember it. And there you have the first energy station of the day, where it's only served liquids. And by this time, the sun has risen to your left, and you can just watch out. You'll see all the racers around you, in front of you on the forest trails, around you in the energy station, and behind you swimming towards the energy station. It's just a fantastic swim run moment. Take a second here and enjoy what you're doing. It's a great scenery and like the picture postcard of the Stockholm archipelago. After Skarprundmarö, you go over to actually a little tidbit about Skarprundmarö before we go over to Rundmarö. On Skarprundmarö, there are 2 freshwater lakes, and they are named after Sweden's 2 biggest lakes, Vänern and Vättern. You won't be seeing them if you're racing, but if you're going there by sailboat one day, maybe you can see those 2 freshwater lakes that kind of looks like and are named after the 2 biggest and greatest lakes of Sweden. So a little tidbit that you can talk with your partner on tomorrow on race day. Trail running on Skarprundmarö, fairly technical, I would say, and people have fell and tripped and got hurt here before, so watch where you place your feet. And then it's a small It's a shorter swim, a small island, and a short swim again, and then you get to Runmarö, which is the first larger island that you'll meet, and where you can kind of pick up the pace. So on Runmarö, it's a total of almost 9 kilometers of running, and in the middle here you have an energy station where you can fill up, and here's also the first cutoff. So at the energy station at Runmarö, you have a cutoff at 9 o'clock, so then you've been at it for 3 hours if you're there at 9 o'clock. Last year's last team came there after 2 hours and 40 minutes, so they had a 20-minute marginal for the cutoff, and so usually almost everybody can go ahead with the race after Runmarö and the cutoff at Runmarö. Easy running and gravel roads. Stop and eat and fill up on energy because you'll need it. By this time you have swum almost 3 kilometers and run 12 kilometers, so it's a fair bit, but you still have a long day ahead. So on Runmarö you also do a little what Michael Lemmel has called the dirty swim. So you do a little swim before you leave Runmarö, and then you go on 2 islands called ÖTILLÖ and Munkö. And these islands are a jungle. Don't get me wrong, these islands aren't inhabited, so it's a natural reserve with a super fantastic flora. If you're going there any other day, not ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship, you can watch the different types of orchids and super fantastic flowers, but now you're doing the ÖTILLÖ and you're kind of going straight down to Utö, so maybe not watching the flowers tomorrow, folks ahead, but it's a really technical island because you never know what the winter storms have prepared for you. Usually there's trees falling everywhere and there's a lot of ups and downs, you're crawling under, you're jumping over. This is a natural OCR course. So be prepared for super technical running and a lot of scrambling on ÖTILLÖ and Munkö. After those islands, there's a bit of island hopping, the true essence of swimrun, I would say. So up and down and a lot of small islands, small runs, and then you come to the next big island on the race course, which is Nämndö. This is again an island where there's a long run, and in the middle you have an energy station at Solvik, and this is a place where you can meet other teams. Because when running on Nämndö, you're going south and then you're going into Solvik on a gravel road, and then you have to go back the same road and go up to the main road on the island again. So here you can meet teams coming from behind or in front of you and like give them a high five, have a nice time. And in Solvik there's usually hot dogs, there's usually cooked food, so stay there and load up because you have a couple of really technical things ahead of you. You have the pig swim, you have the long run on Ornö. So really stock up on energy. It's, I mean, all the energy stations are there for you to be able to finish the race. It's not just because it's super fantastic food and that I get to eat it while I'm doing the media coverage. So stop at Solvik, eat a lot, you will need it. Bring something with you because you have 4.5 kilometers of running after that energy station. So you can bring something with you and have on the go. After Nämndö, you come down to Murtö, which is famous for Murtö Gård, where the family is out cheering for everybody. You usually see them in all the race movies that Rasmus produce. It's a really cool island. It used to be owned by the Swedish Postal Service and be summer homes for the postal workers. Now there's a farm and there's a couple of homesteads. There's only 34 houses on that island, so it's not a super inhabited island, kind of wild. And then you go in Murtö, and then some island hopping on to Murtö Club, and then you have the pig swim. So here you really need to stop before the pig swim and check out both the vicinity because it's a quite far swim. So you have a stroboscope on the other side and just stand there and watch what the other teams in front of you, how they are drifting in the channel, because there's a current in that channel. So you have to kind of arch your way over. So stop and really plan that swim So you don't try to just swim straight ahead, because if you try to swim straight ahead, you will get shifted to the side because of the currents. So plan that swim, and before you jump in, have a gel, have some energy just to stock up, because it's a fairly long swim and you've been at it for a couple of hours. And actually, one year when I was swimming it and it was super wavy and bad weather, I actually met a team come swimming the other direction. So it was me and my partner coming, and we were like, no, we're going this way. And they were like, really? I thought we were going that way. So stop at this swim, be prepared, and just work your way through it. And at the end of it, you get a Twix bar. And then the obvious question is, which do you take? Do you take the left one or the right one? Which is better? But that's up to you, of course, when you get done with the pig swim. So you get up at Kvinnoholmen after the pig swim, and you're cold, you have your Twix bar, you high-five your partner, and you get your morale up again. And after that, it's kind of technical running. It's a bit uphill, and then it's slightly slanted, so it won't go super fast. Don't stress yourself on your running splits on this island, because you're a bit cold, you're a bit tired. Just get into the groove again, and you have a couple of other long swims after that. Then you go from Kvinnoholmen to Getskär and Kymmendö. And these are the last islands before you get to Ornö. And here you have a couple of longs, and then 1,000 meters swimming. And most people talk about the pig swim because the pig swim is infamous, and you have the current and all of this. It's a spectacular swim. It's rock and roll swimming. You love it. But you forget that after the pig swim, you have another 1,000 meter swim, and you're kind of cold and you're not really into long swim again. Plan for this long swim, have extra energy again, because 1,000 meters swimming here will take its toll on you. But thankfully, you'll get up at Ornö soon, the largest island in this part of the archipelago and the longest run of the day. So Ornö is famous for its half marathon. It's 19 kilometers, so it's not really a half marathon, but I mean, you've been at it for 40 kilometers already, so who's counting, right? Well, on Ornö, you start on packed trail for a couple of kilometers, going up to the road, and it's the main road of Ornö. So easy running here. You get into it. Running on asphalt by this time of the race, I mean, you'll be hurting a bit, of course, but you'll just keep on moving and have a plan for Ornö. Either you do the run-walk method, say that you're running for 5 minutes, walking for a minute, and then running again for 5 minutes, or you try to run at a steady pace the whole way to Ornö kyrka, the church where the big energy station is. Talk to your partner, because you need to have a plan for Ornö so that you'll be happy doing this long run on Ornö. After the church, you still have almost half of Ornö to go, going down to South Ornö, and then you're going to Kulbärling and Långbärling. So here it starts to be swim run at its essence again. It's not a lot of houses, it's wild nature, it's you're running on rocky beaches, you're running up and down in the forest. There's a trail, but I mean, it's still super duper technical, and there's a lot of ups and downs going on Kulbärling, Långbärling, and then the Mellankobben, as it's called. There's a lot of island hopping, currents in the water, and you'll soon be at Utö. But this, I know you're tired when you get here. It's you just want to finish the race, but this is, I would say, the most fun part of the whole course. It's fantastic nature, fantastic swim run. So try to enjoy it. It's a fantastic part of the race. And after Mellankobbarna and Järnholmen, the last swim with usually a big current, you come to Utö. You have 3.5 kilometers till you get to the finish line. 3 kilometers till you get to the tennis court and the guest harbor, and then you just have Heartbreak Hill to climb up to Utö Värdshus. And I mean, you can walk the first part of Heartbreak Hill, of course, but really try to do a running finish if you can, if you have energy left. Try to run towards the finish line, and there the race directors and all the other races will await you, and you'll be ready for the party of the year. So that's basically the race course. And I mean, as I talk about it, it sounds easy, and nature dictates this race, and weather dictates this race. It can be completely different from one year to another, and nothing shows the power of nature in swimrun more than what we had at ÖTILLÖ swimrun in Gothenburg this year. I would like to show you the race movie from Gothenburg this year, where nature decided how the race should end up. Check it out.
Welcome, guys. Thank you.
We have taken away the north end of the course, and you're doing 2 loops on the sprint course, as it's much too dangerous to be up on the north end of the course where our boats can't even go at the moment. So really make sure you have a look at the south part of the course. It's the same course as before, it's just a north loop that's not on for today. Är det någon som har frågor? If you have any questions, I'll be here in the start area, but I will inform you as we move along all the time. Kommer informera hela tiden.
3 minutes until the start. And up they go! The world best swimrunner here!
When I saw the forecast yesterday, the smile came across my face because I knew it was going to be fun, and it was so much fun out there in the chop and the waves and the swells, and it was just a blast.
What I really love are races that have a lot of transitions, a lot of swims, a lot of runs, keep them short and punchy, and you're just like in and out of the water constantly, and that was today. It was perfect.
Yep.
Very interesting doing 2 loops of the sprint course, because on the first loop we realized the mistakes that we made and we could button those up on the second loop. We negative split our two laps, and I think it's because we learned so much and immediately we're able to employ that and make adjustments for our second lap.
Stockholm experience!
Kaffekaka fjärde raka.
Jävla maskin. Ja, jag med. Tack för ett
Okej. Kom. Kom. Trött får man vara.
Härligt.
Gratulerar. Vad grym du är.
Vad har vi? 4?
Ja, 4.
Här kommer lag.
As you can see in the Gothenburg race, the nature and the weather really dictates what we're doing. And for me, coming from triathlon, I really like to quantify training, and I like to try to prepare everything as good as I can. But as you can see, you can't control everything during racing, and plan for the best, prepare for the worst, I would say, and you'll make it. And safety is always the main concern of an organization, and as you could see, they changed the race course and had a fantastic experience in the ÖTILLÖ Gothenburg swim run, even though it wasn't the original plan. So, weather may change, race courses may change, but something that doesn't change is the ÖTILLÖ, the Swim Run World Championship. This race course is the race course, even though the weather and nature may change over the years. And very, very soon, I'm super excited for this, we'll have Mats Scott, one of the race directors of this fantastic race, joining me, and I'll ask him everything and try to hit us up with some questions in the comments, and he'll answer all our questions and thoughts and ideas about this race, how it came to be and what it is today. So a quick pause screen while we set up with Mike's and Mats, and we'll be right back with the fantastic race director. See you soon. Welcome back to the pre-show, the pre-race show of ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. I'm joined now by one of the race directors, one of the originals of Swimrun, Matt Scott. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So you've been at it, you created this race basically. So from your first impression, from the first time you went out in the archipelago to today, what has changed? What was the race idea from the beginning and what is it now?
Yeah, the doubts we had creating the race was it possible to do in one day?
Yeah.
And then we tried the course in 2006 in the summertime and we realized it was possible. But now, I mean, 7:30, what can I say? It has developed.
Yes, of course. It has developed from a whole 24 hours down to almost a quarter of that.
Yes. So it's, yeah.
I mean, along the race course, all the way from Sandhamn down to Utö, was the course always what it was, or have you mapped it out?
In the beginning, it was we took the experience from the original four that created the idea,
yeah.
And then we did the course, and then the first year we did that, and then the second year we did from Utö to Sandhamn. But then we realized we have to have the same direction all the time.
Yeah.
And the first year we had a swim that was 3K.
Wow.
And it was just it was a bit too much, I would say.
Yeah.
And now we found this good route since a few years back that we have kept the same all the time.
Yeah. And so
sorry.
Yeah, no drastic changes. This is
more,
the fastest way from A to B.
One time we had to change it because of there was some sensitive nature we had to pass, but now it hasn't changed at all for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
But it's been fine-tuned all the time, and in the beginning when we marked the course there was no trails, it's trees all over, and now people train on the course, and we have the race every year. It become more and more of a little trail. That's why we have fine-tuned the times and distance for this year. So the actual distance is 70K.
Yeah. Regarding that, on the webpage it says ÖTILLÖ is now 60K of running, 10K of swimming. Is it 60K of running, or is it still 65K of running? It's just mapped out now, so it's...
No, it is actually what it is now. It's 70K that is times and distance. And then, I mean, we have downloaded GPX files from racers that have done the whole course in one go.
Yeah.
And then I mapped it very precisely on the map. And I would say it's 70K, and then maybe with some detours in the swimming, maybe you can get up to 71 or something like that. But but it's the same course.
It's the same course.
Yeah.
And perfect. And talking about courses, I've been to the ÖTILLÖ office at Michael's place, and I've seen all the maps that you guys own. And I mean, you're a fantastic race director in creating different experiences.
Yeah.
When you started to create other races, this was the first one, the original one, the mother of all swim runs. So when you went out to create the second race? Was it to mimic this first race, or did you want to create a new experience?
Yeah, it's like since I was a kid, I love being in nature. I'm orienteer and cross-country ski, and then I've done adventure racing. So I've been moving in nature and all over the world. And what I like to create is it's a course that is interested for the racers. That's the main focus when I design a course, to try and find the nice paths and to make it interesting and joyful to do a race.
Yeah.
And try to find the balance. I mean, we don't have like a template. This is how to do a swim run course. It's the nature of each destination that dictates how the route will be.
Yeah, I totally get that. Having been around the different courses of the World Series, is there any particular challenges you say when creating a new race? Do you first go to a location, or do you start watching maps?
I love maps, and I do it on the map. And sometimes you create a course that goes like this, and then you create it. Then second time you look at the map, it's like this, and then the third time it's like this, and then you just fold it together and change ideas like all the time. It's like a creative process, and then you finally bake it to this course that it's finalized, and then you go there and have a look in real nature to see, is this exit or entry possible, or is this trail really existing in reality, or is it just on the map? And then you set the course when you have been there. But first you play around with the maps, and then you go to the actual spot and fine tune it and maybe change everything. But it's really to try and find the interesting part in the nature and the specificness for each destination, so you show the best of what it has to offer.
Yeah. And I know it's a long time ago, but I mean, this is the 16th edition of the World Championship. It's the 18th year, I think, or is it? So it was a long time ago. But do you remember what was the challenge when trying to map out this course the first year for the racers? Was there any challenges, or was it like, oh, this is possible, let's do this? It's going to be.
I mean, I'm not a swimmer from the beginning, but I tried it with fins and run with the fins. So I thought, this would be possible. And then if a good swimmer can do it, I mean, the first year we asked all the participants to have life jackets on. Yeah. So they swam with life jackets. So it was really a totally different thing back then.
It was a different sport
Yes. And then, but I mean, the first year course with the really long swims, we realized this is not very good safety-wise, and it becomes a little bit too difficult for the races to do a long race and then suddenly have a 3K swim in middle of a 70K long race.
Yeah, I get it. So
now we have the pig swim, which is like 1,400. Yeah, and that's a lot with the strong currents and the waves and
the by that time in the race.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's.
And looking at people when they get out of the water from the pig swim, you realize it's very difficult because I mean the top athletes, they just come out like this and then they recover quickly. But
but I mean it's a long and demanding swim.
Yes.
And during the race, where on the race course do you have a set plan on where you're going to be tomorrow, or is it like you're where you're needed?
My main thing tomorrow is not to do anything, but being there if there are problems.
Yeah.
So I'm responsible for the whole race logistic on the course, and also the safety to get all back home in a safe way.
Yeah.
So I'm on a boat, constantly moving and checking that everything is working okay. Hopefully no one calls me, but if someone calls me, I'm there to assist.
Yeah. So if everything goes to plan, we'll meet you again at ÖTILLÖ tomorrow evening.
Yes.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Not having you out on the race course
No.
for more than.
I have a headlamp with me if need be.
In case of. Yeah. And what do you think? Is as you said, going from 24 hours to 7:30. Are we seeing new course records coming in the future?
Looking at what Max and Hugo have delivered this season, and with the conditions we have tomorrow, with decent temperatures in the water, good winds, and nice air temperature, I would be very surprised if they don't beat the course record.
Yeah,
I think they might be under 7:30.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And well, any other predictions for tomorrow, or do you just want the race to get started and so you can see?
No, I'm very excited to meet there. I mean, the races will arrive here soon, and it's really nice to feel the adrenaline and the nervous feeling. And I used to race myself, and I love that feeling before a race. And
do you get hyped up? Do you get like
yes,
in contact with the?
I get the same feeling of
and
excitement of the race.
Fantastic.
So I'm longing to the start.
Yeah. But do you ever get the urge to start yourself? Would you like to, if you weren't the race director of ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship, would you try to apply?
I don't know. I love so much organizing races, so I prefer that.
Yeah. Well, everybody is needed, and there's a lot of people. I mean, the whole swimrun community is happy that you love organizing, and being the head chef of this feast that we will embark on tomorrow. So I know you have a lot of you on your schedule, so that you hopefully don't have anything to do tomorrow, unless something happens. But just enjoying the race. I'll thank you for your time, and
thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure having you here in the studio.
Thank you.
See you later.
Yes, see you.
So. Welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swim Run World Championship of 2022. Tomorrow morning, 160 teams are setting out for a fantastic journey all the way down to the southern part of the Stockholm archipelago at ÖTILLÖ, where they have a fantastic party and a fantastic feast, celebrating their success of finishing this extraordinary race. This race is it's really dependent on what the weather brings. I mean, everybody's been training for a long time, some people for many years to just get to the starting point. And well, you have to adapt for the weather. Fortunately, tomorrow we'll have tailwinds, a small tailwind, and quite calm water. We'll see about the currents. There haven't been a lot of currents, but there will still be a little bit of currents. Nice temperature in the air, nice temperature in the water, so it probably will be a fast year for the top teams. But as I said, the weather can be anything, and it controls how fast the race will be. So I would like to see a movie on from Malta in 2021. Malta is a fantastic race which has had different weathers. It can be really exposed to big swims and or big waves during the swims, and it's been hailstorms. So let's watch the Malta movie from 2021.
Go slow to go fast. This is serious shit, isn't it?
Wow.
Good job. Good job. Take more water if you want.
Thank you, my friend. Good man.
Come in, Dom.
Let me know if you need help.
Thank you.
We're okay, thank you.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, do the dolphin.
These international champions, world-class athletes. Fantastic. That was our first mixed team. One man, one woman. Big them up there. Big Anderson. Please give Mario a big smile. Well done. As team wants to USA to the last 2 meters, there is the big time.
Alltså fy fan! Det är så jävla... Vad ni stressar!
And it's magic. It's I can feel your energy.
Yeah, I mean, just the sea. You've got the beautiful waters, and you've got the stormy waters, and then you've got the magic, huge cliffs, and then you're falling down the cliffs, and then you scramble over the rocks, and then you're in the water, and you're out there. It's just...
It was magic. No, it's just amazing. Magic. I don't know, I'm awesome.
That was the Malta race, and what a spectacular race that is as well. Malta is an island where there's a melting pot of all cultures through Europe, and a lot of movie sets have been built on that island, so there's a lot to see. It's not just swim running. Bring your family and go there. Your kids will enjoy it, your partner will enjoy it, and your swim run partner will absolutely enjoy it because they are there with you. So with this said, we'll have a short break, and after this we'll start with the athlete interviews, starting off with the Low Tide Boys, the infamous podcast from the United States, all about swim run. Super stoked about that. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to the pre-race show for the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. Now I am finally joined by two fantastic athletes, famous in the community, I would say, the Low Tide boys with the Swedish on the everything.
Yeah, umlauts all over.
So
yeah.
Carl and Chipper.
Chip and Chris.
Chip and Chris,
Yeah.
sorry.
No worries, no worries.
I've been at it. I'm super sorry. It's welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
We're honored to get booked.
Yeah,
thank you.
I mean, it's, I was on your show, so
yeah,
you have to be on my show. That's
fair
how it
enough.
works.
Fair enough.
Works for us.
Yeah.
And so, when did you arrive to Sweden?
We got here really early on Thursday morning, but we left. We live on the west coast of the United States in California, so we left 7 a.m. on Wednesday, and then we got here on Thursday at 9.
All right.
So we were all twisted up.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of time traveling. So
yeah, on the way back, we came into the future.
Good time traveling on the way back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know you already know who wins tomorrow and everything. And I'm guessing you guys, because you were first here at Djurgården. We're still waiting for
the bus.
day.
I heard is in traffic.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing you guys are going to be the winners.
Oh my word, no.
We'll be the winners in people's hearts.
Yes,
for sure.
We're going for the
That's all we're going for.
Yeah. And tell me, how did you find out about swimrun?
Yeah,
Kind of
well,
my fault.
Yeah, it was his fault, sort of.
Yeah, so for Christmas a bunch of years ago, my wife got me this book called The World's Toughest Endurance Challenges. It's a big coffee table book, big heavy thing, and just some really incredible events in there, crazy stuff. And one of the crazy ones in there was ÖTILLÖ. And I remember reading about it, thinking like, this is insane, going to YouTube, seeing some videos and being like, okay, this is something that I think I would love to try. Maybe not ÖTILLÖ, like I wasn't thinking ÖTILLÖ, just like do a swim run.
The sport, because we've done triathlons and trail runs, and like we just do endurance stuff. Him and I, training partners for
a decade.
8 years, 10 years now, so yeah.
Yeah, so we've done a bunch of stuff, everything from like a turkey trot 5K with the family to, you know, Ironman,
100K runs, marathons,
all that stuff. So I started looking around to see, well, what's going on as a sport here in the U.S. And there was basically like one race that I found, which was at that point it was called Swimrun USA Casco Bay. It was the first year they were doing it. I had signed up for it with another partner. No offense, Chipper. I ended up being injured, so I didn't do it, and then had a child, and then sort of the following year. I asked this guy, it's like, hey, so I kind of want to do this thing. What do you think about it? And I don't think it took you too long to.
No, it was always, we were always doing, he's like, hey, I got another dumb thing for us to do. I'm like, okay, sounds good, let's do it.
It's always good to have a yes man in
exactly.
in your vicinity to
some stuff I was like, you shouldn't do that. And then I'm like, when are you doing this again? Okay, I'll just.
It's like, that's a terrible idea, but I'll go pace you.
Yeah, what time do you want to do it?
All right, so that was a couple of years ago, and you started off with the local races where.
Yeah, and we had, there was only one race in California, and we went down there, we did a whole 24-hour early flight, we did the race, we went back, and then after we did that Odyssey race, we finished, we're like, we got to do more of these. This was like the most fun that we've ever had, and we've never, I mean, you know, you finish races, you're busted, oh, maybe tomorrow. We walked across the line, we're like, we got to do more of these. It was like hooked. Immediately.
So I mean, and that's sort of the genesis of the show way back when. This was in 2018 when we did those two races. We come back to our friend group, people we train, do triathlons with, and everyone's like, what'd you do? What's going on? And we're like, hey, okay, this is what it is. No one knew what we were talking about. Every chance we got, we were explaining it to people. And then fast forward, we were going to do a race in 2019, but we both had our second child, so we took a year off. And then Catalina, ÖTILLÖ Catalina was happening. So we're like, all right, let's sign up for that. That's going to be great. A bunch of our friends were like, so what are you doing? How does this work? So Chipper had already been doing a podcast with one of his high school best friends. So he had all the gear and everything. And we're sitting in his garage in December, which we spent a lot of time in his garage, just like chatting or whatever. And we were like, oh, we should do a podcast. And then that was the same night. We were like, oh, we should do a meme account, and because there's no Swimrun meme account either. So that was kind of the genesis of the whole thing. And now, you know,
now here we are.
Later, and our journey has gone from, you know, going to Catalina, starting to meet people, meeting Michael and Mats and everything, to now being at the World Championship. It's like, it's a crazy journey.
Yeah. And I mean, you've trained a lot for this. I followed the podcast, and I heard all your monthly updates on training and racing, and I mean, you're well prepared for tomorrow, I would say. Way more prepared than I was the first time I was.
Well, that's comforting to hear a little bit, but yeah, I mean, we definitely respect it to its fullest.
Yeah.
And we just don't want to embarrass ourselves, and we're trying to come out here and have a good day and not be, you know, halfway through just hurting and having a horrible time. Like, we want to come out here and have fun and you know, do the best that we can for a couple of dads.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, when we had you on the show, Villa, it was like, it's like, you know, we want to have the best race that we can have. We have no delusions of anything other than we want to have a good day.
Yeah,
exactly. We want to show up at the race healthy, which unless something happens tonight, we're healthy.
Yeah. No ragers tonight.
Basically, respect the training as much as possible. We worked super hard, more training than I think that we've done. Definitely
any Ironman builds or anything.
Kids. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's the way I've been thinking about it. It's like, hey, this is a quest.
that
we're on. That 150 other teams are going to do, 140 or how many other teams, and and it's a quest that every person who's done ÖTILLÖ has done. So in that way, it's almost unifying to be like, all right, now we really feel like, I mean, obviously we feel welcome in the sport and we love everybody. It's great to meet people, and especially being in Europe for the first time for a race. But we're gonna
do the
take
thing,
the same course, as everyone else, and it's gonna be really, really fun.
Yeah, you're gonna have a fantastic time tomorrow. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, appreciate it.
Yeah, and as I said, well trained, well balanced, and as we talked about earlier, and when I was guesting you, it's not about how fast you're doing it. It's having the best experience and go as hard as you possibly can yourself. You're not racing anybody else. Nobody's racing anybody else in this nature. I mean, it's a couple of the islands are really wild this year. I'll tell you so. So no more triathlons for you guys, I guess. Is it?
I divested of all carbon fiber bikes and only have carbon fiber paddles now. So that's my stance.
I still have a bike. I haven't ruled out triathlon. I had a streak going. I did like a triathlon for like 11 years in a row, or at least one triathlon, and then COVID, so that kind of killed it. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't interest me as much anymore. Partly, I mean, I'm sure you'll hear this a lot on the show, right? It's like the community's so great, the vibe is so great, like the experience. I don't need to do a time trial. I don't want to do it by myself. We would train together, but also with small kids, it's like I just can't do the 6-hour bike ride training days on Saturdays. I want to be with my family, and swim run is sort of conducive for that. But it's something you get to do with one of your best friends. Yeah. It's this journey that we've been on together, and like I said before, it's like, we get to do this quest, which is really fun. But the fact you get to share it with someone, and sort of, you're bigger than the sum of your parts, right? As a team, we're better than we are individually, and that sort of helps us keep each other going, which is a fun thing to experience.
Yeah, and beside from the fantastic quest that you're set out upon tomorrow, do you have a plan for tomorrow?
Yeah,
we do. Generally is like the first kind of third bit, just don't get hurt and make sure we're fueling as much as we can, and just take on, because we've talked to, over 2.5 years, like we've talked to so many people that have done it, and everyone gives us their little tips or their thing. So stay upright, do swim run, fuel, and then we'll see how we feel once kind of the rest of the day unfolds. But that's pretty much what we're trying to do, and have fun, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Like kind of let the race come to us. Just be smart at the beginning, get into a good groove. Obviously, there's nerves because, as you mentioned, we've interviewed all these people on the show. We feel like our swim run IQ is super high.
Yeah.
Because we have even today, people are giving us tips, last minute tips and everything, and we're trying to file them away. It's like, okay, I heard that one before, haven't heard that one before. That one doesn't apply to us because we're too slow, or like whatever. But yeah, just kind of be smart. And then if we're feeling fantastic on Orna, well, then we'll see what happens. But basically just try to be really smart and eat and try to enjoy it. And really, the first time you do anything, you should probably try to enjoy it, but especially something like ÖTILLÖ, it's like, there's no delusions of anything other than just trying to really enjoy it and get through it.
Yep. And I mean, this race is, for a lot of people, it's not a one and done deal. It's not like, for, I guess, most Swedish people trying triathlons are doing it once and not coming back, if not like me. But I mean, you're probably going back. I can't say for sure, but I know myself and I know you guys, and I think like, we'll probably see each other next year as well.
I mean, we honestly don't know what we're doing next year. We're so just like, we don't want to look too far beyond what races we have in the fall in the States. Like, we are just trying to be right here and enjoy what's happening right now and be present. But, it's quite an experience already, and we haven't even got started. So it's,
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I was just talking.
It'll be tempting.
I was talking with Michael. It's like one of the things we love about swimrun is the community and the vibe, and everyone's supportive. And coming to Sweden, basically to the place where the sport was born, like it just makes so much more sense to me why the sport has sort of evolved the way it has, and the culture has evolved the way it has. Because even before we landed, including you guys need anything? Let me know. Let me know if I can help in any way. Jonas Colting was texting us that. Like Dennis Blomberg was texting us that. But like all these people who were like, you guys are busy, but everyone's willing to help.
You're trying to help us and be kind to us and stuff. It's just awesome.
It really kind of, to me, it sort of highlighted, why swimrun is so amazing and why the community is so amazing. And it just fuels us to want to come back, obviously. Maybe not do the World Championship, but other races, other experiences, and see.
is the community the same way in America?
It is, yeah. I mean, that's one thing, and we had Mikael on last year, around this time last year, and that was something that we were really honestly kind of surprised by, is like the ÖTILLÖ sort of community at Catalina, and then when we go to the races like any Odyssey race or swim run like James, everyone, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if they're in Sweden or in North Carolina or in California or Portland, Maine. Everyone is just, it's the same vibe the whole way, and I don't know how it happened, but it's great.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to keep that to anyone that we interact with, basically.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think it's, or for me at least, this is the most fun thing that I have like, in my hobbies. So I want everybody to be part of this, because the more people enjoying swimrun, the more friends that I
you get more
lure
friends.
lure into the
I mean,
swimrun
it's
community.
really interesting. Yeah, like self-selecting. Like we met you last year while you were doing this broadcast for the race.
Yeah.
Going back and forth a little bit. Reached out to you, got you on the show, and I feel like we're already friends. This is the first time we've seen each other, and it's like we're already friends. Great to see you again, kind of thing. It's kind of like that feeling, and it's really interesting because we see that at the U.S. races. But even coming here, a lot of people, sort of heard our show or whatever, and come up to us and say thank you, and we're just like, why? Why? Like we're just a couple of normal guys. So it's been really great to just like, it's just like on steroids basically.
Yeah. So for the Europeans coming on vacation to the US in the future, can they hit you up in the DMs like, hey, have you trained?
Well, if they come to San Francisco, we can definitely orient them.
We can do, we'd be happy to facilitate whatever swim run activities in San Francisco for sure. We have our little in aquatic park area, Ghirardelli Square, like the chocolate. You can go get a sundae or like some crazy milkshake after, but that's where we do our swim runs. In that practice, and we every once in a while we'll see a few people coming through, but we'd be happy to host anybody in the San Francisco area for a nice swim run for sure.
Yeah, so that's your local spot, like.
Yeah, that's our local spot.
Do you have a training group there, or is it
us?
it's you guys.
This is it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's funny because for years we've been the only swim runners we know. Now there's some more around, but it'll be a thing where. A friend of ours will see a couple swim runners there and will text me and be like, hey, were you guys swim running today? It's like, no, we were in like Texas or something. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just thought it was you guys. So we have informants and let us know when there's other
people,
swim runners.
Boots on the ground. And then because we go there so often that in the beginning of the year, people are like, whoa, are you in the military practicing? But then at the end of the season, they're like, oh, there's those swim run guys that we see, or they'll like ask us, oh, where's your tether today or something. So they're catching on down there.
A super funny story. So Anna Lundberg, whose race I think is going to be her third ÖTILLÖ, we had her on the show and we're talking about the race and stuff. And fast forward a couple weeks, we're swim running and someone takes a picture of us, texts it to her, because it's someone in the U.S. who's her colleague, and be like, hey, this is a Swedish thing, 2 swim runners. And she goes, yeah, that's the low type boys. And he's like, how do you know that? It's so funny.
We were running and this guy was kind of like, looked at us and then cut his phone and took some, like, well, like, whatever, okay, let's just keep going. And then she texts us later. It was pretty hilarious. That small
like, yeah,
world
those are the low type boys.
Yeah.
So you do the swim run sessions together. Are you training together? Or do you have the same training plan, both of you, or are you doing individual?
Yeah, so we have the same coach. We get pretty much the same workouts. I mean, obviously we're very fortunate. We know there's a lot of partners that like Lars Fananger and Andy Blow. He lives in the UK and Lars is in Texas, so you couldn't be almost further apart. And we literally are neighbors. He lives like 2 miles from me, and you want to meet at this point? Yeah, boom. So we do a lot of workouts together. We also do some apart, but I mean, we're
like
pretty
the key workouts. A lot of the key workouts we do together.
We'll look at our schedule. A swim here. We kind of have different, drop off the kids and morning situations, different days. But all of our swim run sessions, and if there's a big, 6K swim, and they have the pool to long course, something sturdy, we'll usually go and do it together at 5 in the morning. Yeah, like some moral support stuff for sure. But.
Those swims got pretty big towards the end.
Yeah, there's definitely getting beefy there at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of volume too.
Yeah, a lot of volume, but we've been luckily, knock on wood, like really healthy the whole year, and felt like we had a really good last training block into it, and it definitely was a lot of volume, but definitely felt like it got us ready for what we know is out there.
And I know you guys are gearheads as well.
Yes.
And as you said, you switched the carbon fiber dust collector for carbon
yeah.
fiber panels. And
exactly.
So,
Dust collector.
Yeah.
Racing tomorrow. What are you guys wearing?
Who
are you wearing? Well,
Arc.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Which suit?
The Orno X.
Yeah.
I think is what we're both gonna go with, and we have the kangaroo top, of course, and then we heard a lot about the slippery rocks, so we've been doing a lot of testing with our shoes. But I'm wearing the VJ Ultra 2. Yeah. I guess I have a new one that I had to have it.
Yeah.
I saw it. I'm
Being
like,
a
I guess I
gearhead, you have to
buy
have it.
this. Yeah.
It's for the show. It's
Yeah,
content
and
for
then
the
we
show.
have the Keel Plus buoy, and then we have the Frank paddles, carbon fiber paddles. But yeah, we're just kind of we're not worried about getting too hot.
Yeah,
I think that's not something that we're
we're
overly concerned about.
Over-indexing on like not getting cold later in the race. So yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm wearing my old school Solomon Amphib 2s that I've worn at every single swim run I've done except for one, and they've always been good. So might as well keep them going here. Not change it too much. And the only thing different from Chipper is I'm probably going to start with arm sleeves, and I'm using the new Frank Paddle Pro paddles, which are a little bit different shape.
Yeah,
but they're awesome. So.
All right. So well trained, well equipped.
Yeah, and fuel, like I like the new Arc suits have all the storage in the side, so all the food, just stuff it in there, and it will be a good motivation to eat, to like lighten the load a little bit.
Yeah.
Get all it'll be
Yeah.
weighed down. I'll have
I think it's safe to say we've left no stone unturned in our training. We've trained physically, we've done gut training, we've worked with Precision Fuel and Hydration. They've been awesome enough to
they're great partners with us,
helping us understand how we should fuel, how much we should fuel. So we feel like we're as prepared as we could be for to start.
I mean, I haven't studied this hard for any sort of test in my entire life, so I'm topped up mentally. I'm topped up.
So, are you going to be able to sleep tonight? I mean, the alarm sounds in 3:50 tomorrow morning.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. We set it for, but we shut down the ficas for now.
Yeah.
Until after the race. Yeah. But I think we'll be. Jonas has another bonus fika. But I don't know. I hope so. I hope we'll be able to sleep.
Yeah, we'll probably be able to sleep a little bit. I think it's there's just so much. It's just nervous energy. Obviously, anytime you do something new, and we've built this up probably too much in our heads of this course. So I think the way I always feel at swim runs is like, let's just get through that first swim.
Yeah.
Once you do 2 transitions, transition in, transition
like,
out, it's like, I remember how to do this. We've done a bunch of these. Oh, this is the most fun we usually have when we're out here. So let's,
And I mean, the first swim, just take your time to get into the groove of tomorrow. I mean, don't stress it.
It's a long
swim. You have to
day.
get into it, and I mean, obviously tomorrow we're following you guys on the live page. But after tomorrow, how can anybody follow you guys?
Oh man,
plug your stuff.
Oh yeah, so we are we're a podcast about swim run only.
For some reason,
we're one of the top ones, mostly because we're the only one.
We're the top swimmer.
But yeah, lowtideboys.com, and we're on Instagram, of course, and we mostly Chris makes all these funny memes. If you like niche swim run funny jokes, head to the Instagram account, and we do live like on the stories about kind of more out and about stuff. But the Instagram's for laughs and
and our show is for everyone from beginners to super experienced people. We have shows for everybody, both Swim Run 101, like explaining what swim run is to people, how to find a partner, to everything from like super advanced, like being in the swim flow state. What's that like? What's the heads up racing like? Like we even did a show on paddle like hieroglyphics on like the
how to run on your paddles,
how
and
to use that effectively as a way to prepare for a race. So it's like it's kind of the whole spread, and I mean 3 years later, it's kind of crazy.
140 episodes at least. So at least right now. So it's been going on for a while. It's a thing. It's a thing.
So as you heard, 130 to 40 shows of swim run knowledge to go through if you're a beginner or if you're seasoned in the sport. Nobody knows everything. go to lowtiboys.com, check out their Instagram, it's really funny. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us, man. We'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. And quick pause screen, and we'll be right back with more interviews. Welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. Now here with the infamous in swimrun circles, Jonas Kolting, the only person that's ever started every ÖTILLÖ.
Yeah, that's right.
And first of all, why did you start the first time?
Well, actually, I only started the first time because Michael Lemmel kept bugging me about it and telling me to come up here and join us for this very sort of triathlon-like adventure race that he had created with a lot of swimming and a lot of running.
Yeah.
And it sounded like the sort of the oldest form of triathlon, or the sort of the pre-sport for triathlon, which is aquathlon, which is basically running barefoot on a sandy beach, jumping into swim, and then so I figured, yeah, I mean, I could be pretty good at this. Doesn't sound too weird. Although I had a lot of question marks on, for instance, are we going to put shoes on different islands, or what do we do with our wetsuits? And pretty soon it was obvious that there were a lot of question marks on how to actually do this race regarding equipment. So I only participated because it was a pretty cool adventure race. He promised to have a little bit of prize money, and I figured that no one is really prepared for this race, and it should be a good fit for us. But it actually took us 2 years before I even finished the first time. But the third year I did it, I actually won the race.
Yeah, and Michael told us earlier today that for the third year you had called him and said you have to get rid of the life jackets, otherwise I won't be coming.
Yeah, which he is pretty happy that I insisted on, because I don't think the sport would have reached the magnitude it has now. I kept telling him the wetsuit is a safety buoy, or it is a safety jacket, but obviously he didn't come from a swimming background. So, but I think they had actually come to the same conclusion, that they wanted to slim down everything. For the first few years, you actually had to bring swim fins, even if you didn't plan to use them, you still had to bring it. So for the first 2 years, we had like a backpack with things on that we sort of carried and tugged along for the race. So it's obvious that every sport has to start somewhere. And it's grassroots, and for the first few years, a lot of us that were in sort of creating swimrun, we were sort of guinea pigging the whole thing, and we sort of gave a lot of input, and they were they were intuitive enough to listen, and that's why swimrun has become such a great sport today. That also is attractive for newcomers that don't know how to swim and run. This was such a hardcore event the first few years. It is still now, but at least now people can actually finish, and you don't have to be like a super athlete. Like, you don't have to be Olympic level athlete to finish.
Yes, so, because you were in the national team in triathlon. You were fairly fit when you started.
Yeah,
this.
I was more than in the national team. I was on the podium on the World Championships and European Championships. So I mean, I was really, really good at swimming and running, obviously, and still it was so hard to finish, but mostly because there were a lot of like issues with equipment and like learning how to do it and the rules and everything. I mean, the first year only one team I think finished, and they used air mattresses to paddle on. They didn't even swim a single meter. I don't even think they were wet when they finished. So a lot of things have happened since 2006, and I'm really happy.
With perfect hair.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to be here still 16 years later.
And I mean, you're a pioneer of the sport, as you said, and you've been in it for the start.
Yeah.
And you've been instrumental in giving tips along the way. That after those initial years, after they got rid of the life jackets and everything, was what it is today, was that the picture you had in mind of what swimrun could become, or did you see another way forward for the sport?
Well, I think already in 2008, a lot of things happened between 2007 and 2008. Basically, the equipment we used already in 2008 is quite similar to what we do today. I mean, we took triathlon wetsuits, but they were, I mean, really good wetsuits, and we cut the arms off and the legs off, and we used paddles, and we had shoes. We didn't use a pull buoy, but we put styrofoam in our socks to float the legs, and we had like a small waist pockets with some fluids and stuff. But it was, I mean, in the ballpark of what we have now. What I didn't see is how popular the sport became very quickly. And I mean, I remember writing articles for the American triathlon website Slow Twitch already maybe the third year. And people were like, wow, this sounds so cool. And it gained a little bit of momentum, and other people wrote about it, and it gained a momentum. I mean, I think I was on the TV4 Nyhetsmorgon already the first year that I won the race, because it was like the race became famous, more famous than it actually drew participants. But I think a few things helped the sport to grow. First was that we had, I think it really helped the triathlon also boomed at the same time. Like we had Lisa Norden winning an Olympic silver medal in triathlon. We had the Ironman brand introduced in Sweden. All of a sudden, there were so many more people that wanted to learn how to swim, and that wanted to participate in events that before used to be considered extreme. Now it was something that basically anyone could actually train for. And the more people that trained for it and saw that it was possible to actually finish, only you prepared for it, I think it also drew people into ÖTILLÖ. And because there is obviously a very big crossover between triathlon, Ironman, and swimrun. So I think a lot of things helped. Like it was a general like influx in triathlon for the first like 2010 to 2015. Like a lot of people looked to go into triathlon, and that also drew into swimrun. So it's a number of things. And also Michael and Mats have been so very, very, very skilled in building the brand ÖTILLÖ. They've done such a great job that they are, of course, the two most important people in building the brand. And then races started popping up. I mean, I hosted my event in Borås since 2014, and I was not the first one to do a swimrun race outside of ÖTILLÖ. I mean, there were a number of people that started races, so it became closer and easier for people to participate. So it just grew, and it's really amazing to see where we've gone from those first few years, where everyone thought that this is such a crazy event, and it's almost impossible to finish.
I mean, it's fantastic to have you here once again for the World Championship. And you have raced with a couple of different partners over the years, and you've done every event. Any special memories?
So I mean, so many memories, and I'm happy to say that I've raced with my my now wife 3 times, I think. She was supposed to race, and we haven't divorced yet. We're still together, actually. We were supposed to race even this year, but we've had 2 kids over the last few years, so she hasn't been able to get into shape. But I mean, every single time is special, and it's a very humbling experience to finish the race or to be in the race. It's such a hard race. It's so challenging. But I think last year was a great race for me because I raced with Petter, the famous Swedish artist, and I mean,
you collected a lot of money for a good cause.
We did, and I don't think neither of us was really well prepared. I mean, we were okay in preparation, but we had a lot of things on our mind. I had my own events only the week after, the following weekend, and Petter was on his tour. There were a ton of things to do to manage, both family guys. And we didn't have very high expectations on ourselves, and we started out quite easy. But then we had a great second half of the race, and it sort of grew into like the momentum grew of the race, and then we had our sort of predictions were that this is going to be a really hard day for us, and it's going to be like we're going to be so tired in that. But it was quite obvious. Like we had a great finish. So for the last third of the race, I think we passed 25 teams, and no other team passed us. So it was such a great experience, it was such a joyous day. We thought, okay, this is going to be really hard, so we have to prepare to suffer, and we have to, really have to knuckle down. And instead it was this is so much fun. We're having a great time out here. So that's also something that catches you with surprise sometimes. And that's what I'm telling Martin tomorrow, who's doing the race for the first time, that is, we're just going to enjoy the fact that we're out in the archipelago. We're doing this fantastic race. It's like it's a celebration of fitness and life, and it's we don't have to stress. We're not trying to win the race. We're just trying to go from one island to another island and then across the island, and we're just going to enjoy the process. That's the key to it. Once you've done it a few times, that's the key to finishing.
So Jonas Kolting,
Yeah.
Great, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for me to interview you, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll soon be back with more interviews. So, welcome back to the pre-show, and right now I'm here with Katie Knight and Nicolas Ramirez. Welcome to Djurenöset and welcome to the ÖTILLÖ Swimrun World Championship.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you, really.
So you're a seasoned veteran of this race. I think, was it 2015 the first time you did the ÖTILLÖ?
2015, that was the first time, finishing third with my friend Julian Dent.
Yeah.
And I was racing every year since then.
Yeah, so you know the course by now, and I mean Nicolas is he's kind of the encyclopedia of swimrun here, at least here in Sweden.
So I have found out. Yeah,
so
he knows everything and anything there is to know.
Exactly. So you partnered up really great here.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't
Katie,
get luckier.
You're an OCR champion.
Yep.
Ultra marathon champion.
Yep.
You're a champion of everything in life.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. So why swimrun? How did it come to be ÖTILLÖ?
Yeah, so I love really hard endurance races, and this is probably one of the toughest out there. Yeah. And so I kind of want to push myself to see if I can complete it and how well I can complete it.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have a fantastic day, I guess. I mean, you're a fantastic guide throughout the archipelago.
Yep.
Tell me, how did you guys meet?
How did we meet? Well, this is the organization of ÖTILLÖ who put us in contact and suggest me this challenge. And
yeah,
it is going to be a challenge for him.
After a short reflection, I say, yeah, it's a good challenge, and I like the project, and here we are.
Yeah.
And training-wise, I mean, we live in the same city, so I know you're in shape. You're always in shape.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. But I mean, training-wise, how did you prepare for this?
So my background's a lot in like ultra marathon running. So the end of the season or end of the year is my like peak ultra marathon season. So I'm on my feet a lot. I'm running, biking, a lot of endurance, swimming, not so much. So like to prepare for this, swimming, multiple times a week, to kind of, get me prepared for this. A lot of pool. There's not a ton of open water swimming in Boulder, Colorado, but as much as I can, I did. So here we are.
Yeah. But I read an article or an interview with you where you called yourself the hybrid athlete.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the perfect place, I guess, for the hybrid athlete. It's going to be amphibious, and you have a strong background in like the close to CrossFit genre. So I think you're well prepared, muscular, and I mean, you have Nico and
right. He's the fish. He's going to be pulling me along.
And you're pulling him on land.
Maybe we'll see, but hybrid is like strength and endurance, and so I do a lot of competitions where it's a combination of the two, and then a lot of endurance, just primary endurance races. So this is not quite the strength that I'm used to, where it's like lifting weights, lifting heavy things, throwing heavy things, but endurance-wise, I should make it. I should survive.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of the race, you'll be happy that you can do the pistol squats and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do some push-ups at the end for you.
And Nico, how have you prepared?
Well, I'm always getting ready for ÖTILLÖ every year. This year, I was also ready. I was training, doing my normal summer training for ÖTILLÖ, my long run, my long swims, trying to wait for a good opportunity to do the race. Then I'm ready. We have done only 2 swim run session, very short, 2 times 30 minutes, but it went very well.
Yeah.
And I think I'm quite confident for this event tomorrow.
As I said, you've done it a couple of times before, and it's. I mean, you can't take the race for granted, but you have some knowledge of what to expect. What do you expect for tomorrow?
Just to prepare to suffer for 9-10 hours. So. But have a lot of fun too. So we've done 2 training sessions like you mentioned. went really well. We communicated well. All I'm going to do is just listen to what he tells me to do, and that's all I can do. Yeah.
Super good plan, I guess.
Yeah.
I would choose the same plan.
Exactly.
Going with Nico because,
Exactly.
as I said, he's the encyclopedia of racing.
Yep.
So, do you think, coming from the OCR scene or the Tough Mudder scene, are there more people getting into swimming or is swim run kind of merging into what you're doing, or is it more OCR merging into what swim run is?
I would hope that a lot of people can watch this or see this and kind of join the swim run community.
Yeah.
A lot of the OCR athletes are very, very well diverse in any kind of endurance event. And so I think it would be a great spot for them. A lot of them come from triathlon backgrounds, and so you take the bike out, and a lot of my friends are super pumped to see me do this, and then also kind of jump into one in the near future. So yeah, hopefully the future swim run is full of OCR athletes just trying.
And hopefully full of swim runners crossing over to your domains.
Yeah, I don't know if you would ever try one or.
That's a good cross activity. I think that's
Something that you can do in the future. Are you bringing Nico to your next race?
That would be a good story.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's see how it goes tomorrow first.
See how it goes, and he can jump in my next 24-hour race. So I think he'd do great.
I know he would do great. He's a fantastic athlete. So Team On Vol, how many members are at the World Championship?
Tomorrow we have 54 On Vol members on the starting line in 33 different teams they are. Because some are racing with some people who are not from On Vol, but that's great. It's more than last year. It's fantastic to see that we're making so many people ready for these big races, and that's great.
Yeah,
yesterday, even for the final 15, we had so many beginners, first-timer, and that's great to see that the sport is really growing.
Yeah, I mean, that you're being here as well Nico is a real testament to the sport growing. He's pushing a lot of new people into the sport, and now you're part of this.
Exactly, it's just a sea of blue out there. There's just blue everywhere you go for the team.
But it's very important that after this race, Katie really liked it, and more people coming from OCR and CrossFit and these sports make a try into swim run and want to follow the step of Katie, and that will be a big victory for us.
So, well, you're a swim runner. I would say you're a swim runner nowadays. You're not a.
I'm only a swim runner.
You're only a swim runner nowadays.
We are a swim runner,
you're becoming a swim runner.
Yeah.
So let's talk about difference in training weeks. A typical training weeks for a swim runner should be like. What's your training week?
Training week will be running every day.
Yeah.
And swimming 4 to 6 times a week. Running in the morning, swimming at lunchtime, doing a bit of strength in the evening. That's what we do. Lots of strength, more and more strength, because we realize it's a lot of stress around the hips, around the back, lower back, and then more time in the gym, especially in winter off season.
Yeah, and training as a hybrid athlete. What's the training like for you?
Yeah, so beginning of the year, there's a lot of strength competitions, and so most of the time is spent in the gym. Probably 4 to 5 days in the gym, and then the rest, 2 to 3 days out running, biking, getting the endurance work in. And then as we go towards the end of the year, we have a lot of the big ultra marathons, a lot of the 24-hour races, and so probably like 4 to 5 days are spent all on endurance work, and then only a couple days in the gym.
All right.
But yeah, when it comes to swimming, there isn't a lot, so definitely had to kind of make that transition over the last couple months.
Yeah, I totally get it. I have a couple of friends who's into CrossFit, and in CrossFit, swimming has become one of the parts of the game, so they have to start swimming. But I mean, in OCR, maybe that's the next step. We'll have to see. I mean, you can lead the way on.
Lead the swim front? Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, super happy. And what do you guys look forward to the most tomorrow?
For me, I look to have a great day. Personally, I have a big challenge to pace myself and to try to do our race and not look at the others, which I've never done that. I'm always trying to stay up there in the front, and tomorrow I really have to make sure that my partner is there after 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, up to the end, and that will be my challenge, and that she has a good day and I have a good day too. That's and we see with the result at the end. We never know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll really surprise ourselves.
Yeah.
And you?
I would say, like along those lines, just have a good day, have fun, and then also just enjoy the race because I've never done it before. So really just be present and enjoy everything around me, every swim, every run, even as hard as it will be. So.
Yeah, super.
Yeah.
So, Katie, Nico, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure, and I'll see you on the race course tomorrow.
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll be right back with more athletes in the studio. See you soon. Welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. Now I'm joined by Max and Hugo from Team ARC. Max and Hugo, or is it Hugo and Max? Which name comes first in your team name?
Max.
Max comes
Actually, in the start list, I don't know, I cannot remember if we put, I don't know, maybe we mixed them.
Oh. Super welcome to the show. You guys have been winning everything the last season. I mean, you top placement at every World Series race, except for Malta, because you raced with Adriel then.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's the plan? Is the plan to just crush everything, going for the win?
I'll let you take the first one.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's kind of a goal for us to try to win them all this year, to be honest. So we are on a good way to it.
Yeah.
There is 3 races left, and the biggest one on tomorrow morning. So
Yeah.
let's see.
And I mean, you both have done the World Championship before. You've done it 2 times and you've done it 3 times, if I'm correct?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Yeah, so you're starting to learn a bit about the course. And have you been out training on the course together, or because you live in France and you live in Sweden, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we were actually here this summer, and we're training parts of the course then.
Yeah.
We started at the exit of the first long swim, and then we did all the way down to the pig swim, which includes Rundmare, Nämnde, and everything in between. And then we turned north again and did it backwards. So we know that part pretty well.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will give us, some good advantages for tomorrow.
Super. And well, living in different countries, how do you plan your training? Do you train by yourself, or do you have this same training regiment, or how do you plan it out?
we both are our own coaches.
Yeah.
So we're training by outside. But we plan 2 training camps this year. One just after study before X. So we train this week together, and a longer one this summer. And we try to create the best week with what we are used to do, and to do the training together in those kind of training camp. But during the year we are training by outside.
And I mean, you've been racing now throughout the season, so you kind of get to know each other, right?
Yeah, but I think it's been better and better for each race. We get to know each other more and more in race situations, and we're learning from every race. And tomorrow is the time to pick it all out and then like proving what we have been learning about each other these previous races. So.
Yeah. And what would you say? Is one of you the swimmer and one the runner, or are you both swim runners? How do you plan out the courses? Is one leading the swims, or?
Yeah, Hugo is definitely the swimmer in our team. Hugo is always in the swim, first in the swims.
Yeah.
And then I would say in the running, we prefer to run without a rope and mix the runs in between us. Because I think it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to be in the front and lead and set the pace, and sometimes it's just nice to be in the back and follow someone's back. You don't have to think so much. You can just look at that back and run.
Yeah.
I think the strength of both of us is hopefully that we have a good teamwork and we like the long things.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow. So.
Yeah. So the longer the better.
Hopefully.
Hopefully the longer the better.
Yeah. And the feeling, now that you've done this race a couple of times, the World Championship, do you have the same jitters as the first time? This time coming into it, is it the same feeling coming into the race, or has it evolved over the years?
No, I would say to me it's definitely not the same feeling. Because the first time I was more like, am I going to manage to reach the finish line? And it was like a last minute call. I raced with Diane Sadek. It was the first year I've ever done swimrun.
Yeah.
This was my third swimrun race, to be honest. So I was like, I didn't train that much this swimmer. I just answered a quick call and said yes. So it was a huge adventure. I don't know what I was expecting, but now it's more about how we are going to plan the best plan to win.
Yeah.
I did the same goes for me. The first years I was more of a beginner, not as clear as a race plan that we have tomorrow, and definitely feel more prepared today or for tomorrow, and looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, I mean this is the event of the summer, I guess. You have planned your whole life around this.
Absolutely.
So do you think it's going to be a lot of tactics tomorrow, or is it? Are you playing your own race, or are you a tactical bunch? Are you the chess players of the swimrun community?
You'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
we have our plan at least, and I think we will stick to that plan. And of course, it involves what the other teams are doing, but our own plan first, and then we will. We'll see what the others are doing.
I get it. So tell me. I mean, since swimrun has been about for 17 years, 18 years, so we're not born into it. What did you do before swimrun?
Personally, I did some just running races, trail running races, and road running. Not on any professional level at all, just for fun.
Yeah.
Before that, I played soccer. But when I started swimrun and tried that for the first time, I was like, wow, this is so much more fun than anything I've ever done before. I really want to be good at this. So. Yeah, since that, maybe 5 years ago, I've trained pretty hard for swimrun, but before that, just running more for fun.
Yeah. And you, Hugo?
And by my side, I was a pro swimmer, and I stopped swimming in like 2012, I think. And then I stopped doing any sport. I did nothing for almost 2 or 3 years. And after that, my bro come and tell me, let's do an Ironman and do something great, not just eating too much.
so a quite steep hill climb from nothing to Ironman.
Nothing to Ironman, to have some good goals. And on the way to it, we found about ÖTILLÖ, and we've been to VAR in 2018, and from that we say no, bike is boring. Let's go for swimrun and do the world champs together, and then I want to win it now. So.
And how did you guys meet? How did this team become like the great team of Hugo and Matt?
I think it all started that we were racing against each other Mostly last season. I would say we had a couple of races where we were battling in different teams, and we just found ourselves battling against each other and felt that we were pretty equal and strong together, but in separate teams. So when, obviously when Mathieu, Hugo's previous partner last season, injured himself on the World Champs, and Hugo still wanted to do the Cannes race, it was a good option for us just to try to race together and see if we would have fun, and if it worked out, then it did pretty well. So since then we have been talking about racing more together.
And now you're here and have been racing a lot together.
Yep, exactly.
And well, you said you have your own coaches. A typical training week for you guys? How many swims, how many runs, what strength sessions, what do you do?
Mama said I would say 5 swims a week and 6 runs a week. An average of 25 to 30k in the pool and 100 to 150 running. It depends on the part of the season, but I don't do that much core strength. I don't have enough time to do all of this. So.
No, you're busy in the pool.
I need to do.
Busy swimmers.
And you?
I must say the number of sessions are pretty much the same. Maybe 5 times swimming a week, maybe 6 times running, maybe some strength session. During the winter, a little bit of biking on the trainer as well, or cross-country skiing, just putting in some volume. But yeah, mostly training between 10 and 14 times a week. That's a normal training week.
Super. And I know you're holding your cards tight about tomorrow, so I won't be asking more questions about what your plans are. Just go out and enjoy it. But do you have... is there anything along the course that you look forward to more than anything else?
Pleasure. Definitely.
Yeah, you just have fun along the way. I'm not looking forward to any specific part of the course, but mostly, just try to enjoy as much as possible and try to not be too stressed in the race. I mean, it's a long race, so it's 7.5 hours, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Who knows? But yeah, we need to be focused but not stressed. So I'm trying to take in all the moments that we can.
Yeah, perfect. You? You're agreeing with him, I guess.
Totally agree. I mean, we are doing it because we like it and we like spending time doing some stupid stuff on this island. So it's all about pleasure first, and there's not really specific parts that I'm looking for. Just having fun and having a good day out.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll be able to follow you guys along the live webpage tomorrow, and well, hopefully you can race your race. We'll see tomorrow what that brings, and best of luck, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be right back. Yeah, we'll be right back with more interviews. So welcome back. I'm here with super athletes, I would say, Jenny and Heather. So a quick presentation. Heather, you're from GTN, famous from GTN, but also famous from the Olympics. Silver medal at the Athens Games, right?
You're close. You were on it until that last bit. It's Beijing. You've just aged me by 4 years. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean the rest of it was spot on.
Yeah. Sorry. Modern pentathlon.
Yeah.
So really hardcore stuff.
Well, yeah, hardcore, but it's all like you get a rest in between each one.
Yeah.
And it's in one day, but it's not continuous. Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah, and then you transitioned into triathlons.
Yeah.
Qualified for Kona, your first go
as an
at
age
it.
grouper though, so it's fun. And that's at the same time I started work at GTN, so it's kind of been a fun learning curve into multi-sport. Well, different multi-sport, I suppose, but yeah.
And Jenny, veteran of swimrun, I would say. I mean, this is your fifth? Fourth ÖTILLÖ.
Fourth only.
Yeah, and this summer you did Super Vasan. You did biking, cross-country skiing and running the 90 Ks. Yes. Back and forth, 3 times. So, I mean...
that was a long day. So tomorrow will be sprint.
Yes.
Ish.
So, warm welcome to the Stockholm Archipelago. And I mean, you've done a couple of swim runs before this. So it's not your first rodeo?
Yeah, I have never done one when I finished with a pair.
Yeah.
That's the main ambition.
So if tomorrow we finish together, that will be a first.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am completely novice when it comes to swim run. I probably shouldn't be saying that on this show. I'm probably going to be like booed off right now and told that if I'm making it onto here, I should know what I'm talking about. But I am in safe hands.
Yeah, you have a fantastic guide throughout the archipelago.
Yeah.
How have you guys been training for this event?
Yesterday morning.
Yeah. Well, we met yesterday morning for the first time.
Perfect. I mean, loads of time to prepare.
Yeah, and Jenny's reaction when some of her questions when we met were a bit like that. What? Oh, where? You've not done this. You don't have this. You didn't know that. You've not prepared for that. So we got all that out of the way, and now we're still talking, which is good. So hopefully, if we're still talking by this time tomorrow, we'll be doing really well.
Yeah. But I mean, you've trained all summer to do everything except swimming, I guess.
Exactly, since I also was in Plaster for a couple of months this spring, so I haven't swam that much, unfortunately.
No, but cross-country skiing is preparing you, and in pentathlon you're swimming 200 meters, right? So it's more of a sprint race.
Yeah, definitely. But I've gone I enjoy open water swimming in the last few years, and we've had a lovely summer in the UK this year, and I've done a lot of swimming, but it's very social, so never just
swim a lap, chat for a bit, swim a lap. So I'm hoping the run's the chat bit, and it's going to be replicating the kind of training that I've done. But I didn't know I was doing this until a few weeks ago, so I haven't prepared with this in mind. But I've been swimming this summer, so yeah.
And but you've known that you're going to do this race for a couple of weeks now, so
plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time to grasp some notion of what you're doing and what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. Like there's so much. I'm looking forward to I guess completing, but that sounds boring because then it just sounds like you're trying to get to the end. And I think my key point whenever I do an endurance event is to try to be in the moment and remember to be in the moment, because we all spend so much time wanting to be at the finish, and once you get to the finish you're like, oh, so I want to try to take it in as I go and just like be there and enjoy switching off from everything else in life, because I think that's the great thing about endurance events, that you don't have to worry about anything other than moving forwards and eating at some point and and having a bit of a chat. So that's my focus. So yeah.
And your focus?
To show the fantastic course and everything around it. Hopefully maybe see some seals. But
you're my tour guide.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the guide. No, but it will be
So you're on an all-inclusive tour of
exactly.
Stockholm.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've never seen any of what you guys are talking about, so I'm just like...
The slippery rocks.
Yeah, I've heard about these slippery rocks so much, and everyone's talked about them, but I think from driving over here, they look like granite, and we have a lot of that where I'm from.
Oh, cool.
So I'm hoping that, I don't want to say too much, but that I'll be okay on the slippery rocks.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
You will.
Yeah. So, I mean, has she told you anything about the race? Has she told you like, oh, this is my favorite part, or this island sucks?
Well, just a little bit yesterday of like the beginning that's like really crazy with lots of on and offs of the island, and then the longer run. But I'm looking forward to the longer run, so that's kind of my comfort zone. So yeah, I just sort of know that, and I've looked at the numbers a few times, but I don't really have it in my head. But I almost don't want to. I want to go there just like kind of not expecting and just going. I need to be. It's a strange balance because I want to be partly fearful because I think fear is good and is there to respect it. But I also want to be confident. And I go through phases of like, oh yeah, it's going to be fun. Of course I'll get to the end. And then other times I'm like, oh my god, the thought of just being on your feet for that long is quite daunting. Yeah. And normally, like in an Ironman or something like that, you rest on the bike in my mind. So there's no rest in this. It's like, when do you get the rest? That's the scary part, I think, of just the constant. Either in the cold water and you can't talk. But the run I prefer because you can chat away as well. Swimming's a bit boring like that.
Oh, it's a bit more quiet down there.
Yeah, exactly. No one to listen to you.
So do you have a plan on who's leading the swims?
That's contentious.
No, I don't. We will decide that later.
You'll decide.
I thought we decided that.
I fear a bit that it will be me.
So we met for the first time yesterday, and my friend who introduced us has introduced me as a strong swimmer, and I think
I was like, perfect.
Maybe in a
so
pool.
then it's true.
Maybe in a pool.
She's a strong swimmer.
But not. This one is much quicker than she says, and when we got in and she's just gone, I thought, oh, okay, I don't swim that fast in open water, and I haven't really swam with trainers on. I like just normal swimming, and I don't swim with paddles, which was a bit of a shock. We're still having this conversation.
Still ongoing.
Yes.
So with or without paddles? Is that the ongoing discussion?
Yes, it is, and then that might reflect as to who goes first. So at the moment, Jenny is currently quicker in our practice yesterday, but she's not very happy about going first, whereas I am happy, although I do have the guilt, so it kind of depends how big my guilt is.
We see how it goes, I reckon.
It's going to be great. I would think it's going to be good for you guys. I mean, you've done it all before, so except this, but I mean, you're...
done all of it, except swim run.
No, but I mean, you've done the Ironmans and you've been to the Olympics. I mean, it's a different level than us normals.
Exactly.
It was a long time ago, but
Yeah, but
it's still the Olympics.
Yeah, it's still the Olympics. I mean, that's way above.
Okay, you're embarrassing me now.
No, you're going to do great.
I think
the plan for tomorrow is discussing in between each other who's leading the swims. Except for that, what's the plan?
Have fun.
Have fun. You?
Yeah, it's definitely have fun, and it's this interesting one because I am here as GTN, so we are making a video about the race as well, which is cool. So I've got to have that part of my brain thinking, carrying a GoPro, trying to like get little bits as we go and kind of tell a bit of a story as well, and hopefully see our cameraman is going to be out there. So there's a lot to think about. It's not just about the race, but also, so I am in theory at work, but I get to have fun whilst I'm at work as well. So there's kind of that aspect that's in there. And my biggest challenge is trying to eat, because I'm not very good at taking on nutrition and like a long event. I just quite happily
I think I will be good on remembering you.
Yeah.
Because that will remember me to have it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So a fun day at work.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. It's a Monday
I'm
tomorrow.
obviously working.
Back to work on a Monday morning. I mean, a little bit earlier than normal.
Yeah. But I mean, your boss will love you for that.
Let's hope so.
Eager.
First at work.
Yeah, the longest day at work ever.
So thank you guys for joining me here and talking a little bit, and good luck tomorrow.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me be your teammate. Yeah, I feel very fortunate.
Yeah. See you guys on the course tomorrow.
See you there.
So we'll be right back with more interviews. So, welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. And with me now, a mixed team that has been flying through the race courses. And welcome to the show. Team on Vol head sogs Sabina and Alexis.
Hi.
Hi. So, leading up to the World Championships, how did you prepare for tomorrow's race?
Well, this year we changed a little bit. We decided to both race in men's and women's respectively. Yeah, so I swam and ran with Guillaume and Victor end of last year, and Sabina ran with Desiree and Eugenie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we trained together in Switzerland. Our swimming coach Nasser Awad, who is my old swimming coach in France, and he takes care of the swimming part, and we have an Italian running coach who takes care of the rest.
All right, so training together, racing apart, is that the equation?
Yes, but we race also together. But this year we try to change a bit and racing with different people for trying to change a bit, and racing also with different people. For me, it's good because you see some negative point about your training. So you see racing always with Alexis can be always the same thing. Like I don't see my negative point.
Yeah, we see both of our strengths, and racing with somebody else kind of gives us a different perspective. Especially when we're with Victor, who's a very strong, fast runner. I see compared to running with Sabina, and it allows us to change a bit our training to be better, I guess.
Yeah. But now leading up to this, then it's you've done the race 4 times.
4 times, yes.
And you've done it 3 times before the World Championship.
Yeah.
So you're kind of becoming veterans of doing this race. If you're thinking about the first time you did a race and coming into the race now, what's different in preparing for it?
Changed a lot. The first time was for me, I was very stressed, but it was like the first long race I was doing. So I was discovering this place because I was never been in Stockholm, in Sweden, before my first time. And I met my partner the day before the race. So on Saturday I met my partner, and on Monday I did the race with Cassandra Eliasson in 2018. And it's changed a lot. Now we know the course, we know how training for it. So it's completely different about the first time.
Yeah, I think the first year, well, for me at least, I didn't know what I was getting into. I met Sabina beginning of 2019, and then that was the first year that we did ÖTILLÖ together. And I knew it was going to be a long race, but I didn't know what it was going to be like. And I think the one thing that hasn't changed is probably the envy to come back here and the emotions that you have before the race.
Yeah.
The stress and meeting people here, and
Yeah. So, but I mean, is it the same? Do you have the same like race jitters now? Is it as fun doing it this time as the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in a different way, but it's always as fun.
Yeah. All right. And as you said, swimming coach and running coach. Are you doing swimming and running separately, or are you doing swim run sessions as well when you're training?
Yeah, we do some swim run session as well. Yeah, but during the week it's a bit difficult for our work, for our job. So we train in the morning for the swimming and in the evening for the running. And
in the weekend we have time, we do a long swim run. So yes, we do swim run
All
also.
right. So it's not just a
No,
thing
just
together.
separate. No.
Alright. So, and well, do you do all your training sessions together, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of our strengths is that we live together and also run together. So we kind of help each other when it's tough times, and we also have fun together when it's good times. So yeah, we do every session together, apart from when we need our time alone, I guess. And yeah.
I can follow his speed, but I do my session on my own, and it's on the top.
Yeah.
He is on the top, and but we do it on the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And what's the plan for tomorrow?
Well, now that we know the course a bit, we'll yeah, try to keep up with the other teams, because we know that there's a lot of strong teams, and we'll do our race plan, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that the most important thing that we want to do is to do better than the last year. So maybe arrive to do a few minutes less than the last year, and yeah, we will try to keep it up with the strong teams in mix, and we will see what happens.
Yeah. So we can follow you guys on the live page tomorrow, and I hope to see you on the race course. And other than that, we'll see each other on ÖTILLÖ, I guess.
Yeah.
So race strong and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be right back with more interviews. So welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship. Now standing here with two super athletes, current world champion in mixed category, earlier champion in the women's category, right? And the swim course record holder for Kalmar Ironman.
Yes.
Hi. if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 super fast athletes. Tell me, how did it become Team Desi and Alex?
That's a good question. I don't even remember. Do you?
No, I don't. I think it was you. Yeah, it was you who asked me.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have been competing with a lot of different partners this season. So, because I knew from the beginning that Victor was not going to do it in mix, he was planning to do it in men's.
Yep.
So then I was just doing it with different partners and didn't really have a plan from the beginning. Instead, I wanted to do some specific races this year, and I knew I wanted to do this race as well. And then he asked me to do the race, and then we tried at Gothenburg to see how it worked, and it worked good.
Yeah, it worked quite well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I kind of heard a rumor that Desi was looking for a partner, so I was just, why not? She might want me as a partner, so yeah.
Yeah, and it went super great in Gothenburg, I would say. I mean, you 2nd overall?
Yeah.
So I mean, you completely crushed that course, I guess. I mean, flew right through it.
It was good. It was a new experience too. I mean, when I did win women, I was swimming behind Fanny a lot of times, but now it was different with to do it in mixed, to be behind on the swims. Normally, I'm the stronger one in the swims, and I've done mixed category before, so it was a new experience, and to run all the distance kind of without the rope. So it was good.
Yeah.
And beside the ÖTILLÖ Gothenburg swim run, have you trained anything more together, or is it just like you're in Gothenburg and you're in Stockholm and you do your separate thing?
We trained twice this week for in total an hour.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so that's about it.
Yeah.
But it feels, or at least for me, it feels really good, and the connection between us. I need to work on the transitions because I'm kind of slow there, but I've been practicing a lot, so I think I can keep up with Desi during the race.
Yeah. So we have been trying. I've been training here and in Gothenburg. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but it normally works quite well anyway. I didn't do so much training together when I was racing with Fanny either, because she was living in Barcelona or in Miami. So I'm kind of used to have a partner that can't train so much with. Of course, it's good if you could train with your partner, but it works anyway. Yeah. So you just have to communicate well during the race.
Yeah. And I guess the communication part, that's the important thing of the team aspect of swim run.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you need to communicate with each other, both now when there is problems, and also when there is you have to encourage each other and help each other during the race.
Yeah. And would you say, are you a positive team? Are you the happy-go-lucky team, or are you a grumpy team?
I'm kind of grumpy. I just like straight communication, yes, no, ready, food.
And I think I'm more the happy one, but it's I'm kind of adapt because I have done it with different partners that work different ways. So I kind of think I adapt to what's working, and I'm
socially skilled. You can.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
And I'm not adapting. I'm just doing my way with few words communication.
So with the Kalmar Ironman and things, I'm presuming a triathlon background for you, right?
Well, from the beginning, I'm a swimmer, and then I actually tried swim run, and then it became triathlon.
All right.
So, and now I'm back doing swim run, and I'm doing it because it's so much fun. It's more like a fun atmosphere during the race if you compare it to triathlon. So I love doing swim runs just to have fun, and then triathlon is more like business.
All right.
Yeah.
And for you, Desi, your background?
I'm a swimmer from the beginning. I tried to do 2 triathlon races as well, but then I did swim run because I really like it, the atmosphere, the racing, and also the training and the way that swim run works when you're out in the nature. So I really just like it.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, I mean you're a current champion of swim run, the world champion. I mean you've done the course a couple of times. You know the course ins and outs. What are you? What's your plan for tomorrow?
Obviously we are strong swimmers, so the focus will be to do the swims well. So we are that's our strongest part. So, but it feels good.
Yeah, we're just gonna go as fast as we can.
Yeah. So no tactics. It's all out your own race.
No, we need to have tactics because it's so long. But
course.
it's definitely like push more on our stronger parts, and let's do the weaker parts a bit more controlled. I'd say.
Yeah, super. And what do you look forward to the most on the course? Do you have any special places that you look forward to?
I look forward to like kind of to all the swims actually.
Yeah, same for me. But I want actually to see if we can run pretty fast on Une.
Yeah.
That's something because last time I did ÖTILLÖ, we were walking big parts of the Une, so I kind of want to run the whole thing this time and run fast.
Yeah. Well, you're in good company.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
It's good. Yeah, but I think Une is not as long as you think it is, so I'm positive about that one. So.
And I mean, strong swimmers. Tomorrow it's going to be tailwind and pretty flat water. Would you say it's perfect conditions for you, or would it be better if it was choppy? Or
I mean, it's always easier to swim when it's flat water, but I think for us that's our good swimmers, it's probably better if it's a bit wavy and things like that, because we don't have a problem. We don't find it so hard with that, but
it is what it is.
It is,
yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, since you're I know that you both are great swimmers. Do you have any tips for an emerging swim runner, a new person to the sport who's a little bit worried about the swims? What do you tell them?
You should, like this year, you should not worry about the temperature because it's going to be nice, and not so much worry about the temperature because you know you will get up on the other side of the swim and run again, so you will get warm. So that's one thing, because I think people worry about being cold in the water. And then also work a bit on like navigation, because you can gain a lot of time if you're good in navigation. So I think that's something that you could work a bit on if you haven't done that. So yeah, that's my tips.
Yeah, I would try to relax as much as possible in the water and not like try to push as hard as possible, and try to conserve energy even if it's the weakest part of your swim run things. But so just try to relax. That's what I'm gonna do. Relax but swim fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when you're relaxing, I guess it goes pretty fast either way.
Hopefully.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So best of luck tomorrow to you guys. I expect you to go fast, of course. I mean, I think everybody is, but there's a lot of mixed teams, so it's going to be a cool competition in the mixed category this year.
There are a lot of good mixed teams.
Yeah. And well, we'll see how it turns out. But best of luck to you guys, and thank you for joining me here.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
And we'll be right back. So, welcome back to the pre-show of the ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship of 2022. I have been interviewing a lot of athletes here in the last 1.5 hours, and a lot of them have a background in triathlon and triathlon training. So, swimrun and triathlon, is it the same sport? Is it the same thing that you do? Obviously not. Triathlon is called triathlon and swimrun is called swimrun. Swimrun is kind of self-explanatory, but I mean, swimrun could be done in an urban environment. Obviously, this race is not its own nature's terms. So it's not the swept asphalt roads for biking, it's not the flat 10K of running. This is swimrun, this is something else. And I want you to look at this video that Rasmus has done and get the feeling of what swimrun is. So that's a super cool movie. I mean, you just get the race jitters watching it. And for me at least, I want to go out and do the race. Obviously, I'm working, so I can't do the race tomorrow. Done it in the past. It's one of the best races that exist on this planet, I tell you for sure. And one day I want to do it again. But tomorrow I'll be doing media coverage, and you'll be able to follow this race on ÖTILLÖswimrun.com/live. And there you have the Facebook live feeds, which Henrik and Jonas are doing live action following the leader packs. I'm doing the Instagram account, I'm doing Instagram stories, reels, anything, everything, and following the race. And besides that, I mean, you can follow the live tracker, of course, and the finish line cam at ÖTILLÖ. It's going to be a fantastic day of racing. The weather tomorrow predicted is that it's going to be a little bit cloudy in the first part of the day, and the second part of the day we are seeing sunshine. There's a slight tailwind, so it can be really fast going in by between 2 meters per second and 5 meters per second. So just a small tailwind that will help the swimmers go really fast, set a real good pace. It's going to be a good... Välkomna! So it's going to be a good temperature for both the running and the swimming sections. So for tomorrow's race, I'm expecting course records in at least 2 of the categories. It's going to be a fantastic day of racing. Thank you for tuning into this live show, and we'll see each other tomorrow. Thank you.